Okay, looks like we might starting to be going. Hello, everyone, and happy Saturday. Welcome. Today is the final for my Cal State Long Beach Kinesiology 580 class. My name is Matthew Bassett. I'm a California physical educator and part-time lecturer at Cal State Long Beach. My goal today is to have my students share with you some of the things that we've been working on for the last 8 weeks, actually now. So I'm really excited. Their final projects are completed. They're going to share not only those, but some of the other things that we've been working on this term. So if you have any questions, please let us know. If you are online with the Capered chat, we'd love to hear where you're from and on the Capered YouTube channel. So our first presenter today is Mr. Linton. So Kyle, welcome, and it is your turn.
All right. Hello. Let me start sharing. All right. My name is Kyle Linton. I'm a fourth year, ninth grade physical education teacher at Port of Los Angeles High School in San Pedro. I taught 1 year of health science before that, but I've been at my current position for the last 4 years. For my final project, I did what we call a virtual classroom. Looks a little bit different than what we traditionally did the first time we did that assignment. I think of this more as kind of like a very basic website or a complex PowerPoint or Google Slides. So what I got here is basic muscle groups. I split it up in between upper body, core and back, and lower body. Each of the boxes with a little bit of movement behind it is clickable and will take you to that muscle group. So if we click muscle groups for upper body, I have 4 muscles with their technical term as well as what I usually use. So just biceps and triceps, things like that. And you can continue to click each muscle to see some GIFs for example exercises. So some example exercises for biceps can include just body weight bicep curls, front bicep extensions or shoulder taps, lateral shoulder taps or biceps extensions, and dumbbell bicep curls. I wanted to choose mostly exercises that were body weight, just because of the times that we're in, and a lot of students are having to do physical education at home. So regardless of their equipment, I wanted to make sure they were able to do so. Up top right corner, I have, you can go back to home or back to the specific muscle group. For triceps, I had dumbbell tricep extensions, tricep dips on my coffee table, and just tricep push-ups on the floor. Deltoids, I included dumbbell overhead press, dumbbell front raise, and dumbbell lateral raises. When I teach these exercises to my students, I often mention that you can use soup cans, backpacks, books, for things doing these at home as well. And then the last muscle for the upper body is the pectoralis major, or the pecs. Because most people don't have a bench at home and aren't going to be doing bench press, I just have a few variations of push-ups: traditional, diamond, and offset. And then we can go back to home to check out core and back, which I made purple. For the abs or the abdominals, I have crunches, mountain climbers, hollow body, and plank. My students have been doing a lot of planks recently. For obliques, I got bicycle crunches, side planks, and cross-body mountain climbers. For the trapezius, I included dumbbell overhead press, dumbbell front row, dumbbell lateral raises, and dumbbell shrugs. And for the lats or latissimus dorsi, I included dumbbell bent over row, pull-ups if you have something that can support your body weight, and inverted rows. Here's another example I used for not necessarily exercise equipment, but something at home. I do very strongly recommend that when you're encouraging use of tables, chairs, or any sort of furniture, that really stress that it should be stable so that no one's gonna have anything fall on them or get hurt, which almost happened to me. And then last group I have is the lower body. So again, just 4 muscles. I really wanted to keep this basic because if each of these have, 3 or 4 exercises, can build a good workout with these options. So for the calves or the gastrocnemius, I have jump rope, calf raises, and single leg raises or single leg calf raises. The hamstrings, I included Romanian deadlifts, which you can use again, a backpack, gallon of milk, just don't drop it. Single leg deadlifts, bridges, and air squats. And for the quadriceps, I included squats, jump squats, side or lateral lunges, and wall sits. And then last but not least, the glutes, I had donkey kicks, jump tucks, and side leg kicks. I had to do a lot of explaining that there's a lot of overlap in these leg exercises, but most of these are targeting specifically which one is included. 2 other things I included in this, if you notice in each of the main groups with the muscles, I have a video overview. So I've been making YouTube videos for my students. So this will take you to basically an overview of the entire muscle group. So it'll give you the muscles as well as some example exercises, but that also includes the basic functions. So for each of those, there's a little bit of a more video engaging breakdown for that. And then lastly, I included 1 additional page for additional materials. For most of the images that I used for the muscles, I got them from Healthline, which uses something called biodigital. It's like a medical or exploratory software for the human body. So it includes multiple layers of skeletal, muscular, digestive. So I encourage students to kind of poke around and look at muscles on a deeper level. It gets a lot more technical than we cover in our basic lessons. Second, I have 2 resources from Derby, which I've been using pretty regularly this semester, and since we've been doing distance learning. One is just a simple chart of those basic muscles and body weight workouts for them mostly. So things you can do at home without weights, with very little equipment. It's kind of an all-in-one package for things I've included in my virtual classroom. And then lastly, the video exercise library from the same place. If there's any exercises you're not sure of, you can type them in, and Derby has an exercise library that shows you proper form and tells you what muscles it hits to kind of reinforce last thing. And I included 1 more video for how to modify and progress push-ups that I made for my students, because I'm recognizing, without consistent FitnessGram testing in person, a lot of students may be struggling with traditional floor push-ups. So I made a video how to modify using different levels. One of the last things I wanted to point out is that I really wanted to make these buttons look like buttons on a website. So sometimes they have shadows or a little more depth. And I decided to put a GIF, which is just these moving lines. It's just kind of hard to look at when it's full, but if you make it just the border behind the image or button, it really draws the eye there so that you can click it. So anything that has that movement, all the muscles and the back and the YouTube logo icons are all clickable. How I use this is kind of like a one-stop shop resource for my students to not just learn about the muscles and some exercises, but have some ideas to pick and choose for when they're completing physical activity logs and are looking to target a certain area of their body, whether that be upper, core, or lower body. And that's the gist of it while going through all those exercises. So if anyone has any questions, I'll start to look over at that chat there.
One person asked if you would be willing to share this resource.
Yes, I actually shared the exact link itself, so not the PowerPoint, on Twitter, Straight Up Health. So that's what I've been making my videos on. So I did share it already on there if you wanted to check it out. And I'm definitely opening to sharing the PowerPoint as a copy as well.
If you would like to do that, you can post that link into the YouTube video. They might be able to pick that up.
Sure. Let's see here.
Cool.
Should be the most recent one.
And
here's the specific shared file.
While you're doing that, anything else, Kyle?
That's it.
All right, let's take it over. We have Nancy next. Nancy, you there?
All right. Hey, guys. So my name's Nancy Gamis, and I'm a middle school physical education teacher. I teach 7th and 8th grade, so I've got the little guys. I'm actually going to go over an app that I find I use all the time. So if you're out there teaching, then you know how difficult sometimes getting your groups to be very random, and so that your students aren't selecting the same ones all the time. Really, you want them to be as random as possible, but also including all your students and constantly mixing it up so you can get those social skills and developmental components in there, right? But sometimes your kiddos are going to want to stick together. So one of the things that I've discovered that helps me all the time in this case is Team Shake. So if you've never used it before, check it out. I highly recommend it. I'm going to go over some of the bigger components of the app, but then I'll also explain some examples of how I use it. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so Team Shake, it looks like this. What is it exactly? Well, this one is an app that provides a friendly way to choose teams in a random, but for just about anything. I use it for my classes, but of course, if you're, hosting social gatherings, some events, games, if you're a coach out there, if you're simply just running tournaments or something like that, but you have a list of individuals that you'd like to group up in a more efficient and quick way, but also random, then this is going to be the app for you. All right, so how much does it cost, right? That's the big deal. Sometimes we're looking for quicker little apps that we can quickly pick up on our own, but aren't too pricey. $2 whole. So $2 whole that are super well spent. Who can use it? Well, is it your Apple? Is it your Android devices? Well, that's actually both, which is one of the cool features about Team Shake, that they've actually made it pretty available to just about any device out there. They've actually started to bring out great updates for your iPads, for your Android devices. You can actually share it as well. So I believe you can use it for up to 7 of your personal devices. So if you were trying to share it that way, that's one other way to keep your things synced. But yeah, it's super cool. So if you just go to your iTunes store or your Android store, you can pick that up, $2. All right. Also, so how does it work? Let's get into it. The way that you're going to have your individuals randomized, you just create your teams, or create your lists, I should say. You can create up to 64 lists. So that's enough space forever. I've never filled it up. I've never had, I have my 6 periods that I teach, and I just create a separate one. So period 1, period 2, period 3, just like that down the row. I enter their names on there by adding that little button up here that you guys see there at the top right. Then the next step that you're going to want to take is select what number of teams you'd like, right? For this example, I've just used 4, but obviously if you wanted to break them down into, more teams, 5, 6, 7, again, you can go all the way up to 64 different teams, depending on the individuals you have in the list. Then all you have to do is, 1, grab your phone or your iPad or whatever, give it a little shake. That's always the cooler way to go. It's satisfying. But also, if you don't want to shake your phone, then you just click that little shake button there. It does the same thing, and it throws out a randomized group. So this case, for this purpose, I just used Disney characters. Who doesn't like Disney characters? But that's what I've done there. And it gave me 4 different teams. As you can see, you would be able to actually edit the team names. So if you wanted to give them creative names, or if you let them do their own names for their own teams, then you would just go back in there and edit it. Pretty simple. It's just a click, change the name, and it updates it. It's also color coordinated. So if you had more teams, it would give you different colors as well. So it tends not to repeat the same colors. The other thing is, if you reshake it, it gives you another selection for teams. So if you shook it and you're like, oh, I'm not satisfied with that lineup, shake it again, and it gives you a different setup. All right, the other cool feature about this is, if you had a class and if you were running class discussions, or you were talking about, whatever your topic may be, and you wanted to select a student, how many times have you been out there going, all right, guys, who wants to volunteer to answer the question, blah, 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 and then you get no one, right? So in this case, this would be helpful, eliminates that awkward little moment. Then you would just click the button down here, the little hat with the number, and it'll pop up a random name. And then you can just tell them, I usually tell them, hey guys, I'm just gonna click the little button, boom. They don't argue with me. They don't give me any, a hard time about like, why are you picking on me? It's not in, it's that. So that's what I do for that portion of it. And it's pretty cool because it also tracks the people that it has selected for you. So it doesn't reselect them until you've gone through your whole list. So it's one way to also make sure that you are calling on every student, and that every student has had an opportunity to share, to contribute to the class discussion. Some of the other options is you can actually click on an individual. So one of the things that I do personally is I create a day, especially if we're going through a new unit. I want to see them go participate without much instruction. I give them, a general overview, like, hey, we're doing this sport today. I actually want you to go and play around. It's a discovery moment. It also allows me to step back a little bit and observe my class and see where their skill level is. I can quickly go back and, select Mickey Mouse. And I said, all right, I'm watching them play basketball and I'm looking at their skill level. And I can also designate an area. So if you go up here, you can say present if you're taking attendance this way. You can select a gender here if you wanted to categorize them that way. But also the way I use it here for the strength level, right now, everything by default is on normal. But if you were watching them and I would say, okay, Mickey Mouse is actually pretty good at basketball, and I think his skill level is more advanced. So then I would probably hit this button over here and it'll put it out at 5 or at a 4 or at a 3. It's up to you how you want to interpret those numbers and how you're going to adjust it. But I think it's a cool feature because later, when you want to create those teams, it tries to not put all the strong players in the same team. It tries to separate them. So it'll put a strong player, team 1, and then another strong player in team 2, so that the teams themselves are pretty balanced, right? You don't want your superstars in one team dominating the whole tournament, right? So this is one way to actually make sure that the teams are pretty balanced in skill level as well. And then if you wanted to go a step further, sometimes you don't want 2 kiddos in the same group, right? Maybe they're just very distracting to each other and they're just pulling themselves away from the actual task. What you would want to do here in the sub teams is you would say sub team 1 for Mickey Mouse would oppose you know, the team that you assign for Donald Duck. That way those two will never be in the same team. They'll be on opposite teams. So it's another cool feature. All right, now a little bit more. I'm not going to go through all of these lists because that's something that you'd have to go in there and kind of play around and see really what benefits you and what works for you and your needs. What you would want to do though is that you have an option to use this as attendance. You also have an option to sort them by names, by their strengths. If you wanted to sort them by gender, you could also do that. If you wanted to make sure that you had enough boys and enough girls on the same team so that it's co-ed and it's balanced, you would select those features, and the app does all of this for you once you've selected your preferences. And yeah, it's pretty simple, and it saves it, right? And it holds on to those selections for you until you uncheck it or remove that you don't want that anymore. So here is what an example of what your team lists would look like. I kept it very simple. Mine just say period 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for this sample, I use Disney physical education characters. But again, you would have up to 64 teams of an option that you can create. The management portion of this app is that you can actually export these names. So if you were trying to share with other coaches, or if you're running tournaments, or simply you want a copy for yourself and printed, you can export it by email. You can create PDF versions of this. You can email it and share it with other colleagues. So it's a pretty cool app. It has so many features. And again, remember, it's $2. Super worth it. So I kind of tabulated a little bit of a list of the things that is beneficial from everything we just talked about. So again, you can create up to 64 random teams. You can use it to create balanced teams, most importantly, by setting students and player strengths or skill level, which is one of the things I use a lot. And then it eliminates students feeling left out or fighting over what team they want to be a part of, because one of the things that we encourage is that everyone's included. But a lot of the times, if you're allowing captains to choose, those kiddos at the end are constantly feeling like, well, why am I picked last, right? We want to eliminate that. That's not a cool feeling. It's not a good thing to have out there for our kids. So this app will eliminate that, because a lot of the kids just know, hey, it's random, I'm placed there, cool, let's go. So it's an easy way to also transition into your sports. You can also select a random person from the list, again, to discuss in class, and just make sure that you are reaching every kid in your class as well during your discussions or small group talks. And then again, you can split your teams up by gender if needed. This is very useful when you're doing fitness testing. Sometimes you have to do that. I personally prefer that my teams in class are co-ed and everyone's just participating together, but occasionally you do need to separate them, and this would be another quick feature to use. You can export your lists and share it again with yourselves, your colleagues, your staff, or if you're using this outside of work, then your coaching or parents or anything like that, you would be able to create different lists that you can then export to whatever device you need it to go to. And yeah, guys, I think that's it. Again, highly recommend this app. Again, find it in your just iTunes store or Android Google Play Store. So check it out. And if you're a physical education teacher out there or coach, highly recommend it. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Nancy. It's one of my favorite apps that are out there. And then we're going to turn this one over to Lucky. So let me get this spotlight switched up and we're good to go.
All right, so my name is Lucky Bradshaw. I work for Los Angeles Unified School District. And I'm going to start off by sharing my virtual classroom. Okay, so for this one, it's a balloon activity. I work for our adaptive PE teacher, so you're going to see a lot of more thematic style lessons. For this, we have, move this right over here. We have different challenges that I set for the kids so that they can kind of push themselves to not just do a certain amount. And if they're capable of doing more, they can. I added an extra challenge here that you can really easily with Google Slides rotate the GIF to the other side so that instead of having to create another GIF, it saves you some time. All right, and I have a return to start, get back to the home page, and we have a whole bunch of different other ones. I'm just gonna go ahead and click through these. You could see, use your foot, use your arms, and that's just a really quick virtual classroom that I wanted to share. And this is our Halloween themed lesson. So for this one, I like to have this slide to start with, and it kind of introduces them. I tell them in October, you're going to see a lot of different Halloween creatures or monsters, a lot of orange for Halloween. I have, or I try to give two options if I feel like one option you can't do in a chair. So if a student's in a wheelchair, they have the option to do, let's say, the trunk twist for this one. We have the skeleton shake. So this one, I only have one option because you can shake while in a chair. I like to spend some time on this slide and go ahead and go over anatomy with the students, talking about different bones in the body, like your skull, your ribs. So for this, excuse me, go back over here. Oh, that's fine. Okay, so we have the Dracula. The vampire dabs, I kind of take the time for that one to teach them about covering up for coughing or sneezing. I usually tell them I call it the vampire, but the kids, I tell them they might know it as the dab. We have the mummy that you can do straight-legged. You can do that in a wheelchair as well, straight arms. For this one, I have the princess spin, which I recommend not to have as your last slide because students will just keep spinning and they won't stop. So you have to quickly keep an eye on them, let them know spin, and then move on to the next one pretty quickly. And we have the bat arm circles, which I try to keep it a little more fitness-based, not just having them do up and down movements, movements that you'd see at a gym. But sometimes I do have fun and let them know that they can do different movements. So we have, one second, animals. All right, so when I started making slides, I would have the whole background green screened and I would add the environment. And it was taking me way too long to do this. So I'd have to match it up. It was a big process to do. So I actually preferred doing just a white background and having very simple clip art. And this would help with having, like I could use this movement for the Halloween one. I could call this a spider crawl and just add a couple spider pictures. So having a white background is super helpful and you can use it for multiple different exercises or different themes. The thing with the locomotor movements is that they're really hard to capture on a green screen. Luckily, I had a friend that had a green screen also, and he had green mats. So this was pretty helpful. Let's see, we have the kangaroo jumps. The horse, the galloping was really hard to capture, and you kind of lose some quality with the green screen trying to capture such a long movement. And we have flamingo hops, kind of moving along. All right, we have our superhero. So for the Halloween one, I like to have it more like a party instead of a fitness-based lesson. So we have the music going. For the superhero, I have it more fitness-based. So I started adding time to these. I'll tell them if you want to be a beast, you could do it for 45 seconds, warrior for 30 seconds. For my lower functioning kids, I don't really focus on the time because it kind of takes some extra time to get into the movements or to be able to perform them correctly. You have Spider-Man, the Hulk stomps. Like I said, I try to have two options that you could do, one in a chair. The squats. So during remote learning, squats, actually chair squats specifically, have been an exercise that I use every day. It's something very functional. It's one of the best functional strength exercises. And it's one of those where I can see right in front of the screen. And I try to have the kids go to a tempo, picking a song that has a good squat tempo. For Superman, we have the Superman holds. Having them do stuff on the ground has been really hard for me during remote learning. So that's kind of been an issue. And then just through, and I will go ahead and stop sharing there. It looks like, Matt, we are out of time. I'll go ahead and pass it on to you.
Thank you, Lucky. Good job. Green screen is a whole lot of fun to be able to use. Let me try to get this back over. There we go. Welcome to the Kinesiology 580 final. My name is Matthew Bassett. I'm a K-8 physical education teacher and part-time lecturer at Cal State Long Beach. So thank you for joining us today. Those that are on YouTube, let us know that you're here and share any questions that you may have or comments. Really appreciate you joining in with us on a Saturday to see some of the things that we've been working on. So we've just switched from group one. About every half an hour, we're going to get a new group in. And group two will be started with Brittany. So Brittany, as soon as you're ready.
All right. So I am Brittany Franks. I'm going to quickly share my screen with you guys. So I'm Brittany Franks. I'm an adapted physical education specialist over in Linwood. My caseload is mostly elementary, so you'll see a lot of my stuff is catered to elementary age students. I'm going to quickly show you the website that I created when we first started going to distance learning. So it's just a simple website I made through Weebly. It's my homepage with the little video message I made for my kiddos when we came back to school. This is where I upload their at-home APE lessons. We have our live sessions through Google Meets and Zoom during the week, and then I also send home a Google form with activities that they can do. I email this to them as well and put them in their teachers' Google Classrooms, but some of my kids, it's easier for the parents to just click on a link rather than like remember the email, remember the password. This is a simple way to just get the information out there for them and share a lot of resources at once. So here's all of their little APE at home lessons from last year too. There's another little tab for daily physical activity ideas. I really like this Special Olympics one because they put out videos every day. So it's a little image. You can click on the link and it takes you directly to the respective websites and you can go and participate there. This one is a little calendar. It's cute. It has a little pumpkin and they're thematic for each month and they have different corresponding workouts. So you can put it on their fridge and then they have opportunities to be active every day. And this one, this awesomeness we'll get back to. It's something I created. This one I found on Twitter. Like we recently got on Twitter, so I'm finding a lot of resources there, which are very, very helpful. Over here is my little skills check section, and it's a drop down, but if that is a little bit too difficult, we can click on these buttons as well, and it takes us to the page. There's a video of all of the locomotor skills, all my object control skills. My goal is to make a video of like myself doing this skill for everyone. So far I've done overhand throwing. It's a little intro video, a little Bitmoji classroom with different throwing activities for my kiddos. Over here, I wanted to use this website as a resource for not only just getting the information out there, but getting resources to parents and resources to teachers, classroom teachers, so that they have ideas of what they can do during their physical education time for distance learning and keeping their kids active. So here are a bunch of apps. All of them are free. Again, you would just click on the link or click on the picture and it would take you directly to the App Store. The spinning wheel one is one of my favorites for my little ones. Again, same thing right here with the YouTube videos. My teachers use this a lot. They'll go and click on a link and there's so many resources here for them. I put some websites and documents for my students who aren't as, my parents of students who aren't as technology savvy and they prefer paper copies. This is something that I made that I can send home and they can participate in weekly. They have their little warm up, there's visuals on there, there's stretches, there's activities to do on Monday, there's activities to do Tuesday, Wednesday, and throughout the week. So this is an option for my students who are not going to log on for our virtual sessions or do the Google form ones that I mentioned earlier. And then they can just track it and let me know what they do later. Going back, there's other websites, some different activities that my students can do. For when COVID just started happening, I wanted to make sure I have resources for food out there for my students. We are a little bit of a lower income district, so I wanted to make sure they have those resources. There's a little daily schedule to keep them on track. There's educational sites. So just resources for my parents to help make their lives a little bit easier. And then there's a little about me with my boys. They're doing so good, chewing on the treats and not making noise right now. And then there's a contact. So if parents need to contact me and they they lost my email or something, this is just an easy way for them to do that. So all of this is great, but let's see how we create it. So this is a Weebly website. And like I said, like I am using the free version. So the free version, like you see up here, it will have the weebly.com at the end. You can pay to have just the domain name, but like Dr. LeVay says, if it's free, it's for me. This is how you make it. You can go to your pages. You can add pages. If you see these ones are a little bit indented, I could move it and put it so that it's its own tab, kind of like this one, but I want this one to be indented. So this is what that looks like. When you hover over the tab, it is a little drop down. So that's how I separate my locomotor and object control skills. And I find that helpful. And then you can go to build. When you go to build, you can go to any of the pages. And this is how I like to create them. Like when I do my insert my Google Forms, I take a screenshot of it and I upload it as an image. On the image, you see I can insert a link. So when you click it, you can just go straight to that link, and it's super easy to navigate for people who aren't as tech savvy. So you can add titles, you can add spacers to make it a little bit more lined up, more aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, so titles, text, this is an example of what text would look like. So here's a task sheet that I use in addition to this Google form. You can add the contact. So over here in pages, when I did this one, so that you don't have to add in them individually, it's kind of preset. You can add in a contact section, contact form, and then when you click on this, you can actually choose what you put in there, like a short text, a long text, email, all that good stuff. And yeah, so that is how you make your Weebly website. I also included this in my actual website. Something that we did for this class that I was very, very excited about was my spell that word, fitness. So I'll go over here since I already have it open. The idea with this one is with my little ones to incorporate different subjects. They can choose a letter. For my older ones, we can spell a word that's on their spelling list for the week. So you'll click on it, it'll take you to a fitness activity. We'll click the little APE heart because we love APE, and we'll go back, and then we can click on a different one. For my older kids too, we've also made this alone a full lesson. So we started at A, and we just clicked the space bar instead of going home to do the next one. And we went through, and believe me, we were all sweating at the end. And then I put a little page that just shows more for me, like what exercise is on each page, so that I can know, like, if I want to focus more on these ones, I can kind of tell the students, oh, let's look for like a red letter. And so I can go to B, let's look for like a blue letter, and I can go to one that I like. And then I had a lot of questions from my teachers of how I made that, because I usually use it on an iPad, because when we first started distance learning, we're using Google Meets. And before I found the Dualise extension where you can see the PowerPoint and then you could see your students, I was like, I can't see them. So like I would use my iPad, and I actually started off, I turned all the things backwards so that when I showed it to the camera, it was correct to them, but it was backwards for me. This was before I did my research and made it a little easier on myself, but I made a little video of how to make those interactive presentations. It's also how you make a Bitmoji classroom. This one was super simple and super easy. It's just for my teachers because they kept asking me how I would make it. So I wanted to include that resource as well. After, I'm going to pass it along to Adriana, but I can include the link to my website in the chat so you guys can go check out all of those resources. And thank you for anybody, if you saw your resource on here that I used, everything is linked to your page. Like, thank you very much for sharing all your stuff with me, with everybody. And yeah, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And thank you very much.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Adriana Ramos, and I am going to be presenting to you today my virtual classroom. Just a little bit of background about myself. I am an adapted physical education teacher. I currently work for the Los Angeles Unified School District, and I work with students in the pre-kindergarten all the way up to the 8th grade level. So the virtual classroom that I'm presenting to you today is based around the theme of animals all around the world. As you can see on your screen, we have our world and our 7 continents on here. And the grade level target is for elementary school students. And the purpose of creating this virtual classroom was to give my students an opportunity to participate in a variety of activities that will encourage them to learn skills they can use to perform physical activity in and out of my classroom. So I also provide this resource so they can do it at home in case they enjoy it so much, they can take the time to perform the different activities at home. And in addition, I also created this activity so it's an interdisciplinary resource that I can add to my classroom. Not only are students participating in adapted physical education skills, so practicing their fundamental motor skills or physical fitness skills or perceptual motor skills, but they're also learning about geography, they're learning about their continents, different habitats, different animals that you can find in these continents and habitats, and as well as learning and practicing their English skills. So they're learning PE specific terminology and learning different animal names or things of that nature. And this resource can also be very useful in your classroom and has been very useful in my classroom because it helps with behavior management. I've noticed when using virtual classrooms in my class, it increases student participation. So I'm less likely to have students demonstrate disruptive behaviors because they're so busy having fun participating in all of these activities and getting to click around the website or the virtual classroom. So it's really a fun and engaging tool that you can use. It, like I previously stated, it's interdisciplinary. So it incorporates multiple subjects. It incorporates themes and skills that the students will participate in. It helps with distance learning, especially right now that we are teaching behind a computer screen. This can be another engaging tool that you can use. It helps with visuals, so the students aren't just watching you the entire time and just listening to your voice. It gives them an opportunity to have another fun and engaging resource to look at while you're teaching. And then it's free. So, you know, especially for us teachers, having free resources can be very useful. It just takes a little bit of time and patience to create, but we definitely have plenty of that right now, especially being at home more often than before. So I'm going to go ahead and start diving into the actual virtual classroom. So when we visit the home screen, as we can see that we are on right now, the students are going to start by pressing on this Start Here Bitmoji that I added for them. So we're going to click on it and it takes them to a welcome screen. So this welcome screen gives them a little bit of background information of what they will be seeing in the virtual classroom, as well as some directions as to what they will be doing in the virtual classroom as well. We have a back button on the corner, so it's an easy way for students to maneuver through the website or through the virtual classroom, excuse me. So they can press on that back button and it'll take them back to the 7 continents or the world. And then we have our 7 continents outlined. Each continent is going to have a different habitat of focus, as well as a different set of skills of focus. For example, North America, we're going to go ahead and click on that guy right there. We have farm animals. So in North America, we're going to focus on different farm animals. And each animal is going to have a clickable link that'll take you to a slide with an activity. So we have the dog right here. So we have, when we click on the dog, you can see the activity is to perform the downward dog pose to the count of 10, and then students can go ahead and do that. They have that visual right there demonstrating on how to perform the skill. And once they finish performing the activity, they can go back to the habitat. So if they want to go back to the farm, they press the back button. If they want to go back to the world or to the 7 continents, then they can press on the little world. We're going to go ahead and go back. So every single animal has, so for North America, our focus was physical fitness and flexibility. Students are going to be performing different yoga poses. So if I press on the cat and cow, now we have the cat and cow pose. So we can see different flexibility activities that they'll participate in. And another important aspect of my classroom that I always try to include into our Zoom meetings is relaxation breathing, especially right now that we are learning from home and teaching from home, learning techniques to deal with stress and different types of emotions we may be experiencing. This is something that I like to provide for my students in a tool I like to have them practice in case they ever need it in the future. They can go back to it. And this picture right here will link up to an actual page and it'll take you to the relaxation breathing video. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my continent. So just to kind of dive into the different continents, we're going to visit South America now. Now we're going to the tropical rainforests of South America. And here we have different animals that you can find there. And the skills that we focus on when we're visiting South America are locomotor skills. So here we have our directions. It's going to tell them what they're going to be doing in this activity. So for example, they're going to be running fast like a cheetah for 30 seconds. I have a little countdown timer for them on the side, and they're able to press on the timer so it keeps them accountable of the entire time and performing the activity, as well as like some fun little music they can listen to while they are exercising. So we're going to go ahead and go back, and we have, for example, the frog, just to kind of give you a preview of the different exercises students are going to perform. See, for the monkey, we have skipping. So I really try to focus on having activities that allow them to participate in a wide range of physical activity and skills. And let me just preview a couple more. We have Antarctica. So in Antarctica, now we're visiting the polar animals. We have in this part of our virtual classroom, once again, students are going to participate in locomotor skills, such as doing the bear walk. We have like a nice little visual of them with a GIF, as well as a timer to kind of keep them on track and the timing. So yeah, I try to create this so that students are learning. It can tie into your classroom. It can tie into whatever they're learning in their classroom with their classroom teacher outside of adapted physical education. If the students, and not only that, but you can also cater your virtual classroom to go along with different things that they may enjoy. So for example, I know in my animals has been very useful in my class. So that's why I made my virtual classroom centered around animals, but you can honestly make it centered around anything that your students may like, maybe visiting outer space. You know, you can add the 7 or the different planets that you have. So it's really all about just figuring out what your students enjoy, what they're going to be engaged in, and using that as a tool to create an awesome resource that you can use in your classroom. If you are interested in using the virtual classroom that I created, if you would like to use it in your classroom, I will be sharing it in the chat so you can have the link to the published website that I have for it. If you have any questions as well, go ahead and add in the chat and I will be answering any questions you may have. Thank you so much for being a part of my presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed visiting my virtual classroom. Thank you.
Alrighty, good morning, good morning. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen right now. All right, my name is Amber Salcido. I'm an adapted physical education teacher at LA Unified. I do teach students from various disabilities from pre-K all the way through high school. So today I'm going to present my final project on another virtual classroom, but this one is actually geared for secondary students. It could be used for both general education students as well as higher functioning students with special needs. So that's actually what I use for my higher functioning students with these exercises. I named mine Spartan Training. As you can see that there's a little welcome message on the bottom right-hand corner that just says welcome to Spartan Training, complete the warm-up slide, and then select one workout to conquer for the day. So there's 6 different exercises, workouts, but I'll go ahead and go over that in a bit. But to create this, I use Google Slides. I use the Bitmoji application, which I know a lot of you are aware of or even used yourself, and then also easygift.com, which is a website I use to convert the videos I've recorded into GIFs to use for this project. So we're going to go ahead and dive straight into it. I'm going to go ahead and click on the warm-up slide. You see this little start here button, so we're going to go ahead and just click on that. I call this one the prep. I just use 5 exercises here, but you can go ahead and use whichever type of exercises you want, maybe the warm-up that you use for PE, or you could even mix and match from time to time. So basically, I just said complete each movement for 10 reps. So they're going to go from arm circles all the way down to windmills for 10 repetitions each. And then once they are done with that, it says they're going to go ahead and return to the home screen. So just like Adriana had with the little world to return to the continents, I have a little Spartan logo right here just to go along with the theme. And this is located at the bottom right-hand corner of each of the workout slides. Just because if you have a lot of different workouts, you don't want them to be clicking back. It's kind of a pain doing that. So if you just have that located on the bottom, they could just easily access the homepage. So we're going to go ahead and go back now. And like I said, there's 6 different types of workouts. So I have high intensity interval training, which is cardio based. I have a lot of muscular endurance and strength as well. So I have lower body, I have upper body, I have one that just focuses on shoulders and arms. I have full body, which I use some from upper body, lower body, and even some of the cardio based too, just so that they get a little bit of everything in it so it hits each main muscle group. And then I have an ab circuit right here, just so they are exposed to those types of exercises. So I'm going to just go ahead and go through each workout slide just because I only have 6. But here is the high intensity interval training. I call this one the sweat sesh. They have 6 different exercises and you're going to complete them for 1 minute, perform 3 to 5 rounds. Of course, you could always increase or decrease the amount of time that they're performing each exercise, and then same with the rounds as well, just depending on the strengths and the needs of your students. And then, of course, they have that Spartan logo at the bottom just to keep it consistent, but we're going to go ahead and just power through. The lower body burnout here, so you're hitting the quadriceps, the hamstrings. I even have calves and glute focused workouts here. This one's 15 to 20 repetitions. And of course, depending on what you're working on, if you're working more on strength, it's going to be less repetitions with more weight, and then vice versa for muscular endurance. Another thing that you could also do that I incorporated in other virtual classrooms are adding little like educational pieces as well. So can you tell me the difference between muscular endurance and muscular strength, or give me 2 types of exercises for cardiovascular endurance? So that's just another way you could put the educational aspect to it. I have boulder shoulders and arms here. And then, like I said, I do review some of them, and I reuse them just as a review, especially for my students, since they need that repetition. Upper body booster here, so add a little bit chest and back in addition to the boulder shoulder and arms. You have the ab circuit here, which is just 6 different exercises working on the obliques, and then also the upper and lower abdominals. And these are just 30 seconds each, performing 3 rounds. And then last but not least, you have the full body fundamentals. Like I said, I just take each of them so it focuses on each of the larger muscle groups. And I'm going to just return home now since I'm done with all of the workouts. But this is, it could be used as like homework. So you could send the students the link and they could complete the warm up. And one of the 6 workouts, they could choose their own, or you could tell them which one to do. Or let's see, it could be used in the classroom as well. So you could be doing it with the students, making sure that they're correctly executing the exercises how you want them to be doing it. Like I said, you could also modify it to your specific students. So if they have more severe disabilities, maybe you create your own gifts and then put them in. So just make a copy of the template if you have 2 different types of classes, and you could just add in exercises that will work for your students. Another good thing about this virtual classroom specifically is it's little to no equipment. So you're just going to be using either yourself or a pair of dumbbells. So especially right now during distance learning, I actually taught my students how to make homemade weights out of plastic bottles, and they could fill it with sand or rice, coins, whatever they may have, and that could be used as dumbbells as well. In addition, it teaches them lifestyle skills. So a lot of them are, not afraid to go out into the world and go to the gyms and perform these functional exercises that they could use either at home or at the gym. So yeah, I think it's great. And like I said, you could use it for any type of grade level. You could incorporate it how Adriana and Brittany did it with the alphabet or animals, or you could do something more age appropriate for the secondary students, just like I did. But thank you so much for listening. I will go ahead and look at the chat if you do have any more questions, but I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Anna. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anna Fagan, and I teach 9th grade PE at the Port of Los Angeles High School in San Pedro, California. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you one of the websites that I created for one of our projects. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys. Okay. So for our website project, I chose to use Google Slides or Google Sites to create my website because I felt like for me, this was one of the easiest ones to use out there. It was easy to understand and create and develop the website, which I had never done before. So on the home page, you'll see that this is my welcome landing page. I included the school's website on the landing page as well, and I embedded it in to my homepage. So you can, the students can go ahead and just scroll through the actual school's website without having to leave my website. On the other side, you'll see an area where I just have announcements for them. And then right underneath is a fun little section about just different sports, or different professional sports groups, which you could just click on. It'll take you right to ESPN's websites for those sports. And I included more of the sports that my students are interested in to make it a little bit more fun, interactive, and just a little more personable for them. Moving on to the next section is the About Me section, where I, just gave a short little bio about my teaching experience. Right below it, I included my favorite sports, and right next to it is a video that one of the elementary schools that I taught at up in Washington State, we created a teacher trick shots video where different staff members completed different trick shots. And I included just a short clip of me doing the trick shot. And what's really cool about this video is, it's embedded in the website. So again, it's not sending you off to YouTube or anything. You're just watching the video straight from my website itself. The last tab over here, Standards tab, highlights a majority of the projects which I completed for a class over the standard that I selected in the beginning of the year, which was a soccer push pass. And I set it up so that when you scroll through all the information, you're starting from the beginning, learning the criteria for the standard. And here you'll see criteria poster. Here's a 4-part lesson plan. It's like a comic lesson. And right underneath, I included another embedded video over soccer push pass, which I'm going to share with you guys right now. So again, it's embedded in here. And I used iMovie to create this, which I had never used before, doing this project. And it was a lot of fun to just create minute-long video over the standard and skill that I selected. So just gonna take it into full screen for you guys. And 9th grade soccer push pass. We're working on standard 1.3, apply previously learned movement concepts to the learning and development of the motor skills required for successful participation in individual and dual activities. Push pass. Shoulders facing target. Plantar foot next to ball and pointing towards your target. Body over ball. Contact ball in the middle. Use the inside of your foot with your ankle locked. Follow through with kicking leg to target. Success criteria. Some different views. Shoulders facing target, plantar foot next to ball and pointing towards target. Body over ball. Contact ball in the middle, use inside of foot and ankle locked. Follow through with kicking leg to target. A view from the front using the success criteria. Okay, and then once you get out of full screen, it just takes you right back to the website. Right underneath that, you'll see a button where you just click and it'll take you to my virtual classroom for the push pass. And you're starting here and clicking through each of the Bitmoji. It'll take you to different skill drills for the students to be able to develop skills for soccer push pass. And then once they go through the virtual classroom, right at the end here is the self-graded quiz, which they click on. And, I set it up so that you take the quiz right at the end after reviewing all the content again. And you go in, take that quiz, and it'll give you immediate feedback with the grade that you'll get once it's submitted. So thank you for listening. If anybody would like the URL to my website, I'm more than happy to share that with you. But other than that, thank you.
Thank you, Group 2. Excellent job, Anna and Adriana and Amber and Brittany. Welcome if you've just joined us. My name is Matthew Bassett. I'm a K-8 physical education teacher in California and a part-time lecturer at Cal State Long Beach. This is the Kinesiology 580 graduate course on computer applications and technology, and we're covering a lot of information today that has been presented over the term and also created by the students. So we're going to get started with our next group, and we're going over to Jordan as our next group. And he will get us started in the third block of time that we have. So Jordan.
All right, I'm going to share real quick. Okay, hi everybody, my name is Jordan Howard. I teach PE at McBride High School in Long Beach Unified. My project that I'm presenting today is a basketball unit on a virtual classroom basketball unit. I chose to do this because at the beginning of the year, I did a get to know you survey with my students. And a lot of, I was asking them about like, what did they like from previous experiences, PE, what would they like to do this year? And just kind of things like that. And a lot of them said basketball. So this is why I chose to do this. I broke it down into 3 different sections. The first one being warm-up stretches, the second one being strength exercises, and the third one being skill exercises. And then right here in the bottom left corner, I put this little home button. So it kind of explains that if you click on this anywhere in the unit, it'll take you back to this current slide right here. So that way, it hopefully kind of alleviates getting lost and all the navigation issues that could come up. So getting started, I would start with the warm-up exercises. It says use the following warm-up exercises to perform prior to participating in any workouts or games. So I put pictures here, like each of my 3 different sections have a picture from our actual school. This is kind of like our fitness studio where we might do these warm-up exercises, just to kind of give the kids something, to bring them back into being at school, even though we're online. So there's 9 different exercises here. Clicking on one takes you to a slide with a GIF of me demonstrating it, as well as I have a little Bitmoji here kind of saying like, we're gonna do 10 repetitions. So there's some cues. Clicking right up here at the top will take you not back to the initial slide, but back to like this specific slide. So they all have some form of cues, and they will all have a GIF. This one, for instance, has a timer on it, which is really cool. I thought it was really cool to incorporate because students can click on that and they can actually have the timer within their slide rather than having to go use their own clock and kind of worry about that or even count. So, so just navigating through this a little bit. It's obviously important to warm up, and we kind of always try to get our students to get in that habit. So I've got a light jump up and down here with the timer as well. I have like a lateral swing, leg swings. This one is a back and forth leg swings, again with the timer. And then I have a wrist one, which is, important for most of our activities that involve using our hands. So, in basketball, we do a lot of dribbling and shooting. So I wanted to make sure that we got a wrist warm up in there. I've got a trunk twist, and I've got a groin. So what I've been trying to do with my students is when we warm up every day, I've been trying to get like different students to maybe lead our warm-ups like in our Zoom classes. So we've been doing some of these. We would definitely do these during a basketball unit. So coming back here to strength exercises next. This is our weight room. And yes, that's the Lakers logo. I guess a couple years ago, the Lakers did a commercial in our weight room at my high school. And the administration was just like, well, why should we take it down? Let's just leave it up. So the kids love it. Being in LA County, there's a ton of like Laker fans, and the kids love basketball. So I wanted to kind of show them this again. So here, these are just some exercises we do in the weight room that could help, with the performance and strength necessary to the game of basketball. Almost all of these were done without any equipment, so they could do it at home. I have some body weight squats here with the timer. I have some planks, which we would do in class, pretty often. We're working on our core strength. I've got some calf raisers, which I would indicate to the students you could do these with or without weight if you had some dumbbells at home or some other type of weight. But it's not necessary. We've got push-ups, tricep dips. That one, kind of using equipment. You can modify it to, maybe on the side of your bed. These are the only two that really did require equipment. I had like a standing box jump. In the weight room at school, I would obviously be there to supervise them during this and make sure that everyone's doing it safely. Now at home, it's kind of a different story because kids probably don't have a box like this at home. Maybe one of them might, but I would kind of reiterate to them like, hey, make sure you had a parent around or somebody to watch you and that you actually had a sturdy surface to do this. And then I just had one more seated one. So moving on to the last one is my skill exercises section. You would practice these to help increase your knowledge and performance of basketball related skills. So I kind of went over the defensive and offensive position for basketball, going over the triple threat with them. Going over the defensive position, how we would play defense when we were doing. And then I have some cues about dribbling a basketball with the timer as well that I wanted to perform for 30 seconds. And shooting, which is everybody's favorite part of basketball. And then I have some passing. And I've got a box out. Here I used two GIFs to kind of show like a front angle and a side angle. I think it's important to do these on specific ones that might require a little more attention. You probably could do it on all of them, but for the sake of the space, I didn't. And then the last one is rebounding. So I would have my students go through this. We would go through it together. I didn't on each slide kind of like, for instance, navigate them with arrows or numbers to how they should do it. I kind of like them being able to go through and navigate on their own. But I have seen many others, and it probably is useful as well to kind of show them in which direction they need to go, like maybe starting with, for instance, like in the skills, we would start an offensive position, maybe go to dribbling, and then passing, shooting, and then defense would kind of lead to boxing out, rebounding, and so on. But so that's my virtual basketball unit classroom. Thanks for listening, and thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Howard. So I'm up next. Welcome everybody, happy Saturday, and thank you for showing up to our presentation. I know you're taking a time out on a Saturday to do this, and I really appreciate it. So hopefully you see some things that interest you as far as physical education. A little bit about myself. My name is Robert Da Silva. I did my undergraduate at Cal State Long Beach for kinesiology K through 12. I just recently finished my single subject credential and master's in education through national. And I just started with Cal State Long Beach to get my master's in physical education. Currently, I'm not working anywhere right now, but hopefully by the spring semester, I'll be out of school. So I want to go ahead and show you my screen right now and my presentation. So this is my presentation here. It is my virtual classroom. And just a side note, if you see this and you think you can't do it, you can do it, because it's a couple months ago when I saw virtual classrooms, I thought there's no way I could do this. But it turned out, due to the class with Mr. Bassett, turned out to be one of my favorite things. And right now, I think it's a great way to use it as a remote teacher, try to teach activities to your students, because you're kind of forced to do it in a small area, like kids are today at their house. So had that in mind when I made my presentation. So my presentation, I try to focus maybe on every level. I have a workout through K through 5, which is the wildlife workout. I have a boxing workout that I targeted towards the high schools, grades 9 through 12, and then another physical activity workout. That's middle school, grades 6 through 8. And that one's more geared towards getting them ready, because they're going to start doing the fitnessgram activities. Again, my workouts, I try to keep my remote learning and COVID in mind, and try to do some things that, that students could do inside their house. So getting started, just like Mr. Howard's presentation, to get started, you would click on a Bitmoji here. So I'm going to go over here and click the wildlife workout. And as you can see, I have another welcome page to start the workout with different Bitmojis and also animals to represent the activities you would do. And going to my first slide here, just to show you. First activity would be the bunny. That beautiful little girl right there is my own daughter, and she was more than willing to help me out. I really appreciate it. So this activity, as you can see, is a bunny. She's imitating a bunny. Just jumping along right there and having a good time. I did include a timer like Mr. Howard did, so the students could know how long they needed to do the activity for. And this personally was the best part of my presentation. I loved it. Hold on a second, I'm sorry. So this would be another activity I did with my daughter. She did the gorilla, putting her hands down on the ground, moving forward. Also in a small area, kept that in mind as we're working from home. Another one would be the elephant, swinging your arms side to side, having a good old time doing that. I got involved because she said, "Why am I doing all the things, Daddy? You got to do one of them." So I did the duck. As you can see, you crouch down and walk along, which is kind of hard for me, to be honest with you. The crab. So several activities like this. I find that the elementary kids enjoy more of these types of activities because it gets them more engaged, more motivated, and to do the activities rather than having to do like a regular type of workout. As you see the frog. Now it comes to my second part of the activity. This was targeted more to the high school grades. It's a boxing workout, grades 9 through 12. So also I had in mind the grade level. Sometimes high school students could be a little bit difficult to get motivated and engaged with traditional activities. So I like this one because I'm a boxing fan, and I think it's a great workout, to be honest with you, to get people engaged and get going. So I have a few things in here that I personally did. Again, keeping in mind they're probably doing this at home because they're doing all their assignments at home, their activities at home in a small area, something they can do, work on. The jab punch here, cross punch, also with a timer there to let them know, to indicate how long they need to do the activity for. Hook punch, uppercut, a roll, which is used to kind of duck punches, get out of the way of punches, and then react back at them. Once again, my beautiful daughter makes another appearance here. She's helping me out this activity is kind of like a combo. You throwing a jab and a cross. Another combo, jab, cross, uppercut. And they would do this continuously for the whole minute that I have the timer set for to get a decent workout. Now going, apologies. Let me get to my last one. So this would be my last workout. So this is my virtual physical activity workout. This would be geared more to middle school, grades 6 through 8. And this is more of a traditional workout where they're doing more stuff to get them their body strengthened and get more endurance and better cardiovascular health. Because now we're introducing fitnessgram activities to get them ready to when they go to high school to pass their fitnessgram test. Things like push-ups, jumping jacks, squats, planks, like Mr. Howard just showed also, lunges, side plank, which I do many of because you can see, but I gotta do more of them. High knees, mountain climbers, burpees. So that's how the activities I would have for middle school students, especially remote learning, teaching them from home. That way they can get a decent workout and improve their physical activity. Once again, my daughter makes an appearance. Thank you all for watching my presentation. I really appreciate it. You get taking time on a Saturday for us. And I made it published, but I know Mr. Bass had mentioned there's sometimes problems with the publication when you post it to the web. So if anybody's interested in the copy, let me know. I can always change it, however I have to do it to make it available. So that's my presentation. I thank you again for your time. And then I'm going to hand it off to Brandon.
There you go. Am I unmuted? Yes. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Brendan Moriyama, and I'm an adapted PE teacher in Linwood. Just in case you are wondering, yes, I do get stopped by security thinking that I'm a student. But today I'm going to be presenting my virtual classroom. Let's see. Okay. So the theme for my classroom that I chose is going to be a superhero theme. So what you do, there you go. So what they're going to do as students or the people who are doing the workout, so they're going to click on one of the characters. And because it's like a comic book theme, I kind of based my lesson kind of around that too as well. So if you click on one of the characters, so Captain Marvel will be the first one that we can choose. So it's kind of like comic book theme. They have missions to do. So the missions are within the pictures itself. So within the GIFs themselves are the missions. So if you were to click on the first mission, which would be the first one, you have a little mission. So, for them to punch the enemies, she needs your help. So what we'll usually do is do punches for 30 seconds. And this is a kind of a great way to kind of get their body all warmed up for PE. The time can vary as well. Like most of the presentators mentioned, you know, if they need to adjust the time, you can always adjust the time. I usually do 30 seconds. It's a good enough where it gets them moving and kind of getting them ready for the actual different workouts. So if you click on the little Captain Marvel logo, it's actually going to take you back to the training grounds. So this is where it's going to go back to your little side hub where your characters are. So each link, so we can go to the next one. So with this mission 2, you know, we have their objectives, so what they want to do, and then it also kind of tells them how we're going to perform these activities. So each of my lessons, each of my workouts, I usually do about 30 seconds. Sometimes, you know, depending on their level, grade level, then we can do either by repetitions or even shortening up the time. So, you know, we can go through all of these. I'll kind of go over them briefly. So each mission, I got kind of creative and kind of created like a little scenario so then they can kind of feel like they're in that moment with the Captain Marvel or the superhero that they're going to be working out with. So, you know, we have kind of cute little objectives that they need to do, and then we can kind of mask fitness with the whole cartoon or the whole theme of it. So I can show you all of these and go mission 4. So as we know, you know, we have each superhero is going to be a little bit different. So I try to base each fitness kind of where it would fit in the realm of the character. So and then if you click the little welcome superhero, it's going to take you back to the headquarters. So this is where you're going to see all the characters, and then they can go ahead and click again where they want to go. So the next one we can do is Superman. So with Superman, it has 5 different other workouts as well. So some of the ones that are kind of cool, you know, we can help working on flying. So we're going to do like a little jumping activity where they do it for 30 seconds. And keep in mind, some of these activities, you know, doing it for 30 seconds is going to make them very tired. So what I usually do, I'll probably do like maybe 1 or 2 exercises and then have them take a break, drink some water, you know, and always encourage them to take a break whenever they need to. So I'll go to the next one. You know, these are all just various missions. All of them are different too. So it's kind of unique to their, oopsie. Sorry about that. Computer's a little weird. Going into like different superheroes. So each character has their own little scenario. It's going to be fun. You can do this. You know, the good thing about this virtual classroom is you can either do it with your students, or you can have them assign it for like a on their own time activities. And if you want to do that, you can have them. What I would recommend would work best is you can even do 1 superhero per day. So you can kind of spread out these 5 superheroes into 5 different days, or you can have them choose one act, you know, you can have someone be a leader in the class and they can choose a superhero for the day. So we have like various workouts, you know, keep in mind that, you know, depending on their ability levels, you might need to adjust these activities. I try to do most of my activities that require no equipment, just because I've noticed that even from teaching through this distance learning that most of my students don't have, you know, equipment like balls or, you know, various equipment that you might need used in the classroom setting. So what I usually like to do is do a lot of body weight, or even find a lot of fun things you can do at home using like, you know, pans or different material that you have at your house. So I'm going to keep going on to the next one. And then, so we have 5 different ones, you know, again, we try to do different ones. Each of them has different scenario based. And it's a little fun one. I think it can work with all ages, you know. Of course, when you get a little bit older, they might not buy into the whole superhero theme, but, you know, keep in mind, most people like superheroes, and I think even at, you know, even at my age, I still enjoy it a lot. So it's kind of fun, you know, kind of makes me feel like I'm in the comic itself. So that's one of my one of my projects. I also want to kind of go over one quickly that I did as well. So this is like Thing Link. This is kind of like an interactive picture field trip style. So for our field trip today that we did, I'm going to kind of briefly go over it. We went to Hawaii. So when, it's kind of cool. You're able to click on a picture to take you to different places. So right now, I usually talk about, oh, how do we go to different vacation spots? So by flying. So what I'll usually do, what do we got to do? We got to board our airplane. So let's see if this works. So this is kind of cool. I found this picture, I think on Flickr. A lot of free websites where you can provide different photos. And it's kind of cool, that you can make them very interactive. So like for me, I made like a window seal so they can kind of feel like they're in the airplane, understand that, sometimes some of my students might be able to have these luxuries of going places. So I try to take them to places that they really like to go. Of course, we have like a little in-flight movie kind of introducing where we're going to go. And it's kind of fun, it's a little way to kind of mask fitness as well. So first place we're going to go to is Honolulu, Hawaii. So each of these posts kind of take you to different areas. So right here is a great one I found on Twitter. Mr. Berwick, he kind of makes a virtual paddleboarding experience. So what we'll do is we'll do this for a little bit, and then we can move on to like different things that they might not try, like parasailing. You can kind of do stuff like that. So making it really interactive, making it kind of fun, masking fitness. Another great place. I like to do a lot of these virtual runs because they kind of they make you feel like you're in that, in the area. And then you can kind of do different fitness activities like running, jumping, different workouts throughout while you're kind of moving through the video. And then the next place I would go is going to be Oahu. So like I said before, all of these are going to be all interactive and clickable. Some of the cool ones that I like to do is like teaching them how to surf. A lot of my kids don't know how to surf and they would love to. So I kind of do this, kind of prepare them if they were to practice when if they want to do that in like at the beach and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you one link before, I guess that one's not working anymore. Last one before we go. This is kind of cool. This was like a shark cave, and I usually kind of ask, oh, would you guys rather do this? So they kind of experience different things that maybe they might normally not experience. So this is one way to kind of bring them that experience by taking them on different field trips around the world. So thank you again. My name is Brendan Moriyama. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed my content.
Good morning, guys. My name is Terry at Fire High School in Linwood, California. I actually graduated from Fire 10 years ago, and they made me the athletic director right off the bat. So I'm heavily involved with athletics. So one of the things I did immediately once I got to Fireball, I started building up the weight room. That's something we've been lacking since I was at Fireball 10 years ago. I would go into the weight room the first year I was there last year, and students did not know how to use the proper weight room equipment. They didn't know go through progressions as well. So I want to introduce the OPT model. There's something I've been working with the athletes to have them work through progressions in a proper manner in the weight room. The OPT model is a model that NASM came up with, and it teaches athletes how to work through progressions in strength training. So first phase is stabilization, endurance. Phase 2, strength endurance. Phase 3, hypertrophy. Phase 4, maximal strength. And ultimately, phase 5 is power. You go ahead and click on this for more information. It gives you more information about how the model came about, which was created by Dr. Mike Clark. And it's highly adaptable and it's versatile no matter what level, age, ability, and background. It is very adaptable no matter what. And if you need more information on the OPT model itself, you go ahead and go on this QR code. So phase 1 of stabilization endurance is where you try to get all the muscle imbalances out the way prior to going to more demanding exercises. So if you click on the stability ball, it's a stability ball push-up. working on my stabilizing muscles. Go back to phase 1. Let me go ahead and start on the whiteboard. So if I do that. So what is phase 1? What does it consist of? Here in phase 1, you go 12 to 20 repetitions at a 50 to 70% of your 1 rep max or body weight alone. A good way to start off on this stabilization endurance is to have a 4-2-1 tempo, a 4-second concentric contraction, a 2-second isometric hold, and a 1-second eccentric contraction. So it prepares the body for higher demands of training that may follow. And the goals is correcting muscle imbalances, and it prevents tissue overload by preparing the muscles, tendons, ligaments, and joints for the upcoming imposes demands of training. So we go back to the virtual classroom. We go ahead and click through all these progressions that are stabilization endurance. Here I'm doing a step up curl and press, working on my stabilization. A Bozu ball push up, working on my stabilizers as well. I always tell my students there's no point of going into the bench press and being super shaky in the bench press if you can't do a proper push up if you're all really shaky. And next we'll go on to what phase 2 is, which is strength endurance. What does that consist of? Go ahead and click on the whiteboard. And here you'll start doing 2 to 4 sets per exercise, 16 to 24 per superset. In this phase, then tells about using superset techniques, which you'll start off doing a stable exercise, such as a bench press, and immediately followed with a stabilization exercise, such as a stability ball push-up. So if you go to my virtual classroom, click on these clickables. So you'll start off with a bench press, and then you'll move into a different environment such as a stabilization endurance exercise as soon as your prime movers are gassed out. And you go ahead and click on this curl bar, barbell squat to a Bozu ball squat. Once again, you do like a strength training exercise followed by a stabilization exercise in phase 2. Let me just show you one more for this one, a seated cable row. And then you still work out your rhomboids and trapezius in a more unstable environment with a single leg row. Moving on to the next phase really quickly, hypertrophy. What is hypertrophy? Here the criteria changes, 6 to 12 reps. You want to do 3 to 6 sets per exercise, 75 to 85% of your 1 rep max. Going back to my virtual classroom. 1 second. Here we're doing a barbell shoulder press, keeping the weight at 75 to 85% of my 1 rep max, keeping it between 6 to 12 repetitions. A standing upright row. Moving on to my next one, phase 4. What is maximal strength? Here you're working out 1 to 5 reps, 85 to 100% of your 1 rep max. Here you're developing maximal strength. It depends on neuromuscular adaptations resulting from consistently and progressively overloading muscles with higher intensities. So let me show you what these look like. A weighted pull-up. I struggle with these big time. Here I probably do like 3 reps working out for maximal strength. A deadlift, working out the full kinetic chain of the body. And then lastly to phase 5, power movements. All these are clickables. What is power? So your power phase focuses on using high force and high velocity exercises to increase power. Here you want to start off by doing a superset as well. Start with a maximal strength exercise with what I just covered in maximal strength in phase 4, 85 to 100% of your 1 rep max. And then immediately with no rest, you complete a second exercise. Let me show you what I did there. So let me go to the different one. Go here. Did incline dumbbell press, immediately to medicine ball chest press as quickly and as efficiently as I can, keeping proper form. A lat pull down, going into a soccer throw, working on my latissimus dorsi, and then still burning out the lats, doing a soccer throw. And I also want to go over resistance training systems, the different training systems that you could build your programs, your protocols. We have pyramid training, how you could increase the weight per set as the sets go on, or you could reverse it going heavier, 175, 155, and 135 as the sets go down. We have peripheral heart action. Every exercise you switch from upper body to lower body to improve circulation. So you'll start off with the upper body exercise and moving to lower body, and then switching back to upper body, and then once again doing a TRX squat, working out that lower body. And you have split routine, how often people will do split routine. So people do that based on agonist muscle groups, the chest and triceps. When you do pushing motions, you work out both the chest and the triceps. So many people decide to do that, or others like antagonist muscle groups. I know Arnold Schwarzenegger loved this one, the chest and back, two major muscle groups. You'll start off with the front part of the body, the chest, moving on to the back. And then I'm showing you the drop set, 65 pounds to 45 pounds, and then to 25 pounds as you have a lot of lactic acid build up in your muscles. So I'm hoping in the next couple weeks, our athletes will be able to utilize the weight room. I know we're coming back for conditioning next week, 1 week from today. And hopefully weight rooms open up soon so I could continue to work with them. Before the closure occurred, I would work with them in the weight room to give them a better balanced workout program. And that is all I have for you guys. Any questions?
Those questions will be on YouTube. So if you want to head over there, Andy. Thank you so much, Andy, for sharing. For those of you who are joining us, thank you. My name is Matthew Bassett, and I am a part-time lecturer at Cal State Long Beach on top of my K-8 physical education job. Thank you to the last group who has completed, Jordan, Brendan, Andy, and Robert. Excellent job. We're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to hand it over to Marcelino, who is going to be leading off our next half-hour block.
You can hear me, right? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marcelino. I work for LA Unified. I work for a transition center, 9 to 12. Also work with adults. I work as an adaptive physical education teacher. And Mr. Bassett's class, 580. I think the best thing that I got out of this class was to teach myself how to do GIFs, especially during distance learning. I think GIFs are an awesome way for our students, our population, to really get the visual and learn the skill without putting any extra effort on the teacher. So you can put up a GIF and you're all good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you very simply how to do a GIF for your slides. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is, the website. You have to have a video prepared. I have a sample video that I'm going to use, and then I'm going to teach you how to add it to the GIF to the slide. Okay, so the website that I used, that I learned from Mr. Bassett's class, was easygif.com. What you do first is you click on the GIF maker, click on video to GIF. 1 second. So if I'm making a video GIF, I would click on this. Let's enlarge it. You convert and update file. So what you do is, and I'll demo it for you in a minute. What you want to do is choose a file from your computer, or you can also choose a URL. You can choose a YouTube video and splice it up. That's the sample I'm going to use. All right, so 1 second. So what you want to do first, like this is a sample video. For some reason, and this is one of the things we also learned in this class, technology could be finicky. So what I do, if I want to cut up this YouTube video to make it into a GIF, I would play it. I pick what part of the video I want. We can start from 7 seconds. 1 second. Okay. Anyway, well, what you do here is he's showing us some workout skills. So, oh, here we go. So, like if I wanted to demo, for example, I think this one has, one second. So right here, if you wanted to demo, yeah, it's not working. It's okay. Well, he's demoing how to do a march or a running in place. So what you do is you figure out the seconds you want from the video. So from 23 seconds for, you got here 23 seconds. Let's say 27 seconds. Okay, so then you choose which settings you want here. I like to put optimize for static background. It looks a little more crispier. You convert to GIF. You wait. Well, what happened here is you'll get the video here. After you get the video, you'll get the GIF, and everyone knows what GIFs are. You'll have a repeating loop of the skill. After you do that, there's an option to save it. It's not uploading. That's okay. All right, so one second, guys. One second. All right, so then you insert you would save the GIFs to the desktop as I do. I think I find it easier to find things on the desktop. Once you save it there, you will pick out your GIF on the desktop and then insert it onto your slides. So this is a virtual classroom I did for one of my classes. This is a skill I learned. So I recorded myself. Okay, so one of the things I did is to teach the skill of rolling the ball. So I put step 1, that's the GIF I use. I would ask the students before we begin, we need to put our feet together. And this is exactly what the GIF does. So it keeps replaying in a loop. And I think it makes it easier for the student to see what they're doing. Step 2, make sure you step in opposition. The GIF replays over and over. It's wonderful. Step 3, roll the ball. Keep walking, step, release to target. And I think this is a really good way for the students to learn a skill. This skill, particularly for my population, we teach a lot. I use this skill for pre-assessments to begin my semesters. And I think during virtual learning, it's been really difficult to teach certain skills, for example, like this. And I think this is a good way for our students to learn how to do a rolling the ball to a target. If the students don't have any balls or anything, they can get trash bags. That's what I use, trash bags, and just have them roll it. What's important is that they get the skill down. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, let me know, and thank you for your time. I appreciate it. All right.
Thank you, Marcelino, for sharing. Hello, everyone. My name's Gerardo Mora. I'm a secondary physical education teacher. This is my email below. I also included my Twitter at teachmora, where I'll be posting some of my work and some of my future projects. So thank you all for being here on this Friday morning. Today, I'm gonna make sure I'm sharing my screen. Oh, there we go. So today I'm going to be sharing my virtual classroom. Decided to go with a jungle theme. The reason for that is when we were coming back from summer break, I had my students fill out just kind of like a reflection on their summer. And a lot of individual students did mention that they miss going outdoors and hiking. So I decided to go with this a jungle theme virtual classroom. So I did number each individual Bitmoji with different numbers just so they could have, so they can have a kind of a routine workout. I've also included this back row arrow, which will take them back to this landing page here. So we'll begin with the the directions where it's on top, which is to kind of guide them through it. It tells them to explore the jungle while staying active in Mr. Mora's outdoor virtual classroom by clicking on each of the items to explore different workouts. So you'll find the number 1. We do want them to go ahead and warm up. So I did include the directions for them to escape danger by performing these exercises for 20 seconds each. We have high knees, some glute kicks, running in place. You could also change the time of each individual routine or workout by fitting the needs of your students. And then you hit the arrow back, it'll then take you back to the landing page. And then you go on to number 2, which we have some flexibility exercises, and the directions for this is for them to stretch out before and after and long exploration. So here we have some shoulder stretch. They'll be holding that for 10 seconds on each arm. Then we have our torso stretch, where they will be stretching 10 seconds again on to each side, left and right. We have some leg swings there and some butterfly sits. And as you can tell, I'm not very flexible. That's not my area of expertise, but I'm working on it. So these are definitely some great flexibility exercises they can do. And again, a lot of this doesn't really require much equipment. Our school was able to provide us with exercise mats, along with every student a jump rope. So we're pretty fortunate on that. And then for number 3 here, we're going to take them into some cardiovascular exercises, and the directions for this is for students to climb over obstacles and jump over streams by performing 10 of the following. So here we have mountain climbers, we have some crossbody mountain climbers, going into some burpees, some jumping jacks, and some jumping squats. For the burpees, I know they could be a little difficult, so you could again tailor the amount to your student needs. And then we hit the back row button. That's going to take us into the number 4, which is our jump roping cardiovascular exercises. Here we have different types of jumps they can perform with the jump rope. We have the jogger, which is kind of like high knees and alternating your feet for each jump. We have the side swing. For this one, it might be a little tricky at first, but just perhaps teaching them how to swing the jump rope off to the side and getting that momentum going, and then they could implement the jump afterwards. Then we have the skier here, which is basically a single jump going from side to side. And then we have on the go, which is basically moving forward and kind of like a small jog with the jump involved. And then we're going to go on to the next one here. We have number 5, which is our muscular strength upper body exercises, which is different forms of push-ups. For this direction, so students are to stay low and push themselves up as they maneuver through the jungle. So they will perform 10 of each. You have the standard push-up here, some modified push-ups where you place your knees on the ground, just making sure that the distance between the hands and the knees are spread out. Then we have a low push-up here. I've recorded this one kind of sideways so they can see the hand placement, making sure that the hand placement's behind the elbows. And then we have our shoulder taps here, where you're alternating hands as you tap your shoulders on the way up. So then we'll go ahead and come on back. Then we have the swing into action. This one's upper body strength exercises where students will swing into action by performing 5 of these pull-up and hanging exercises. We have hanging leg raises, some pull-ups, some standard pull-ups there, some wide grip pull-ups where their hands come out, spread out a little bit, and then the chin up with the reverse grip. And then we'll come on back, and then we'll go on to the last one here, which is our abdominal exercises. The directions for this is to have students sit up and enjoy the view of the jungle while performing 10 of the following exercises. So here we have our standard sit-up, 20-second plank holds, and the oblique twist. Now the oblique twist does require a kettlebell. So what I've had my students is make their own. We actually made our own with a gallon of milk. We filled it up with sand. Just got to make sure that we do have a cap for the gallon so we don't spill anything. You could also use water on them And it's roughly about 10 pounds. I've actually had to remove a little sand on this one so we could have it to be 10 pounds. It has the handle, so students are able to kind of maneuver this around pretty easily. So it's a great tool you could use and create at home. You can even make this a project for your students, so they could do this, have some extra weight besides their body weight. And then after they're done with their virtual classrooms, they've gone through all the routines. A great idea would be have a reflection, have them reflect on their activities. You could ask questions like which activity did they like the best, which one they struggled more with, and then just make those adjustments if you want to create another one in the future. But yes, this is my virtual classroom. Again, thank you all for being here on this Saturday morning. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys take something from this. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Hi, good afternoon, almost afternoon. My name is Coach Danny, at least that's what my kids call me. I'm a teacher. Let me see, am I muted?
You're good to
go. Okay, good to go. Sorry, I couldn't see the mute button. Yes, I'm a teacher, adapted PE teacher for Orange Unified. And today I'm going to present a card game, a fitness card game that I created called Casino Fitness Cards. And then I'm going to show you guys how to make a card so that way everybody knows how to do it when I share my resource on the YouTube channel. All right, so we'll start off with what it is. Basically, Casino Fitness Cards is an interactive game I created when I was a student teacher in high school, adapted PE. And I've kind of modified it to fit the needs of students in elementary since I teach elementary. And I'll start off with what it looks like. Let me present this. So basically, it starts off with a category, aerobic exercise. And I created a card, one spade, one heart, one diamond, and one club. And what you would do is you start off by handing out or laying out a bunch of playing cards on the floor. And then you make 4 stations. Each of the diamonds, the spades, the hearts, and the clubs are an exercise station. And this one particularly is aerobic exercise. So it goes into aerobic exercises with pictures. And some of those pictures include things like jumping jacks, mountain climbers, running in place, and alternating high knees. As you can see on the bottom, there are instructions. They're basic instructions. Starting at a starting position, quickly alternate your feet behind you, slightly bending your knees, alternate for 30 seconds. So what you would do is for each one of the suits, you would make a fitness station, and students would pick a card from the center pile and then go to that station and then follow the instructions on the bottom. It's really easy. It's really versatile as well. So you can make your own, I guess, criterias. So for instance, in elementary, 4th grade, they're doing times tables. So I try to do ×2. So I'll do like, pick your card, match your suit, okay, do the exercise, and then for that number that you draw, say for instance it's 10, multiply it by 2. And so they'll have to multiply it by 2, and that's how many seconds they'll do for alternating high knees. All right, moving on. So I created, I think, about 7 categories. I went into muscular strength, and then I went into endurance, and then I went to flexibility, and also locomotor skills for the elementary kids, and ball skills such as overhand throw, catch, two-handed strike, and kicking. And then also seated calisthenics for the students that are in wheelchairs, just like so. And then what I will do is exit here, and we'll start off on a blank canvas. I have the resources, and I'll send a link for everything, so that way you guys could create your own. If you want to modify it, you copy this link that I'm going to send, and then modify it to fit your needs. Okay, so we'll start off with this blank canvas right here. And what I did first is I wanted to make a background. So I thought about how I would go about it. I didn't want to enter a background image because it automatically sizes it, and it sometimes dysmorphs the image. So what I did is I just downloaded a playing card off Google, and what I did is I inserted it, and just like that. Okay. Next, what I did is I double click it because I want to make sure that I crop it to fit the background nicely. So what you do is you just double click that, and then you start moving into sides, just like that. Okay, and then press enter. Now you have a card, right? Before I get into putting the background, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that I'm using, this is slides, okay? So when you create a new slide, it's automatically gonna look like a PowerPoint. But what you do to fix it to do 8x10 is you go to File, and then you go to Page Setup, and then you put a custom size. You do an 8.5x11, which is paper size, and then you push apply, and it'll change the rectangle into a paper size. All right, and then the same thing for this background that I'm going to use here. You go to format options, you click it, you go to format options, and then you do 8.5 by 11. So it fits the back just like that. Okay, so everything is hiding, right? I want to make sure that I could see everything. So first I'm going to right click it, and then I'm going to go to order and then send it back. Okay, now it's in the background, so I could see that there's going to be tiles where I could type stuff in, and you can't see it right now, but I'll show you guys how to make this image more transparent so that everybody can see, so you can see all your materials. So on the same format options, options, click the image, and then you go to adjustments. Let me lift this up a little bit. Go to adjustments, and you make it a little transparent. You drag that cursor over, make it a little transparent, do a little bit of contrast in there so you can see the background. Okay. All right. So what I did next was I created a title. I think that's good. So what I did next is I created a title. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Okay, so let me send it all the way back. So what I did is send it back just like that. I want to create a title, and I'm going to make this, say for instance, a Frisbee category. And on the description or the subtitle, I'm going to do a Frisbee backhand throw. Okay, just like that. Oop, the Frisbee. Perfect. All right, so what I wanted to do is I take pictures of myself doing a bunch of different, exercises, but I thought about Dr. LeVay. He always told me if it's free, it's for me. So I went to Google and I downloaded a bunch of images that I thought were useful, and I found a bunch of nice ones, and I'm going to show you guys how I created these images to be without background. So as you can see, these images don't have backgrounds. What I did is I found the image I wanted, I downloaded it, put it onto a file or a desktop, and then what you do is you open up this website called Remove Background, and I'm going to put these websites on the stream as well. And you drag and drop the image into the website, and it automatically populates and then creates an image that's background free. So you download it, you open it, and you drag it into your fitness cards. And voila, it's background free. Okay, so once you have a background free image, you could feel free to transform it however you like. Make it as big or as small, and then you add your descriptions on the bottom. So what I would do is I would add another description saying down here, okay, we'll do criteria 1, you know, face, shoulder to target. Criteria 2, bring frisbee back, and so on and so forth. Okay. And then what I also did is I got these little clubs. I did the same thing. I removed the background. I wanted to make sure that everything matched up nicely. All the formatting is the same. So feel free to transform and use all the formatting however you like. Whatever suits your needs. If you like big font, if you like little font, you go ahead and just start clicking up and down. You switch the font text if you'd like. You can make it different colors. We'll keep it black since it's black. Frisbee, we'll keep that black as well. All right, so this is a basic idea, and this is just how I created all these, but I went into details on what was important for me. And as you can see, I made sure that I added arrows like this onto the images so that kids know what's progressing from one thing to the next, and then arrows up where the arms would move and such. So how I would use this online, basically, I would go ahead and in the Google, say for instance, I have a Google class. I want to make sure that my students can use a deck of cards if they don't have one. I would just go ahead and send them the link for deck of cards, and it's deck.of.cards, and automatically you get a deck of cards. And it's cool because you could just pull out 5 cards, and each student would do 5 exercises, open it up. You can make your own criteria for jokers. Jokers are fun because you could do them, you know, kind of like a spin-off of the exercise, or you could do, oh, you don't have to do that one, so you only get to do 4 exercises, however you like. This one's awesome too because you could add multiplayers, and then you would just send this link right here to students, and each student will have a name, and they could all use this simultaneously. So you could go ahead and put students' names, and they pop up here in the bottom, and you could type to each other just like that. And then each student would have their cards to the left or to the right or to the top, and so on and so forth. How I use this in person is I just use the cards and I set them all in the middle. Sometimes I take off certain cards like low numbers or high numbers, depending on what it is that we're focusing on. And let me go ahead and copy this so I can send this over. But if anybody has any questions on how to create these, feel free to reach out. My website, I'll put on my website on the YouTube feed. But yeah, that's my locomotor. I'm sorry, my casino fitness cards. Oh, one more thing. Sorry, before I go, I want to show something to everybody. So if you guys do this online, you could pin any of these little items to move to different parts of your slide, and I'll show you how to do that. So for instance, if you have to match a suit, and this one in particular is the spade, you click the spade and it'll take you automatically to the card, or the heart, it'll take you automatically to a heart website, and so on and so forth. And that's really easy. So what you would do is you click your item that you want to be clickable, and then what you do is you click the item that you want to be clickable, and then you link a slide to it. So let me take off this one. On the bottom, it'll give you an option that says slides, link to slides in the presentation, and then you click on whatever slide that you feel is necessary, okay? And then automatically populates and sets it up that way. And then when you want to share it, you want to make sure that you publish it to the web. and then start the slideshow as soon as possible, and then give you a brief demonstration of what that looks like. You just put it into a URL like that, you send it to the students, you open up the cards, and automatically you're in there playing. Alrighty, so that is it for me. Let me go ahead and stop sharing. Thank you everybody for joining in.
All right. Well, hello everybody. My name is Jacob Dupuy. I am a adaptive physical education specialist in Paramount Unified. And just a little context of what I teach and kind of who I teach. I have experience teaching all grades. Currently, I teach pre-K, early elementary, high school, adult school, but I mean, I've taught gen ed middle school, gen ed high school. I've taught all the grades of APE. So I have a wide range of experience. So if there's anything you would need to adapt or do anything differently in this section, I'll kind of go over that. But yeah, so what I'm presenting on is a virtual classroom. And for me, I like to keep it very simple. I don't like to go too crazy on a lot of things. And the virtual classroom is very, very simple to make. Like Danny was saying earlier about the links, in order to make a virtual classroom, it really depends on these links. And so, yeah, like you said, I'm not going to go over it again because he just went over it, but all you have to do is just go insert, link, click on it, and you can link up any slide into the Google Classroom. So for this one, this is an upper body slide. So it's going to connect to my slide 3, which is my upper body section. I'll go a little more into that in just a second. You can also do a YouTube link or any other link you want. So let's say that, you're talking about upper body or you're talking about fitness in general, and you have this link to a YouTube video, or you have it linked to an article that they can read, the students can read, or give them more information, or, if whatever it is you're teaching. So as far as, the virtual classroom, one thing I wanted to talk about was more when to use it and why. So for me, what I did, and I'll show you a little more, I created 5 different fitness routines that students could either do all at once. So they can do each one in one setting. They can just do 2, they can just do 1, but each one is a different section of fitness. So for me, what I broke it down into was full body, upper body, lower body, abdominals, and stretching. So kind of hitting a lot of variety. And in each of these slides are different exercises. So none of these exercises are repeated. So there's 25 different exercises. Now, for me, when I would use this would be at the end of a unit. So I wouldn't throw this into my classroom right in the very beginning for a number of reasons. This is going to be more of an asynchronous assignment, and something that you are going to let the students be more independent with. So if you give them this and say, okay, you guys got to do all 5, and there's 25 different exercises that they've never done before, they're going to stop. They're going to say, hey, I don't know how to do this. Hey, I'm not sure how to do this. I don't know what to do. So the kind of the best course of action is to show them these exercises leading up to it. And then for either a asynchronous lesson where you're not in school like we are right now, or when you have maybe a lesson, if we're in person, having each student be like, okay, go through each one, you do it yourself, or you self-grade yourself, or having separate stations with iPads and having a slide on each iPad. So there's a lot of different ways you can kind of do this, but this definitely lends itself more to virtual learning and to distance learning. So just as far as how it works, very simple. Click on it. Again, I'm from the philosophy of keep it simple, don't be trying to do too many things. So it's just a choose your own workout. Click on any of the pictures of Mr. Jacob and a different workout routine. But the things you'll need: space to move and not hit anything, a mat, a large towel, or a rug on hard floors, stopwatch, and a water bottle. So very simple. I personally, especially with these in-person or not in-person activities, I don't like to use any equipment because you never know what the students have, and you never want to put the burden on the parents to say, okay, you need to have this or you need to have that. And also just my personal philosophy of fitness is you don't need to have equipment to stay physically fit. So you can have a great workout without having any equipment. And there are ways to do that, both for adaptive PE and for gen ed PE. This specific virtual classroom was designed with my high school kids in mind. So it's something that I would definitely implement for them. So let's go ahead and click on one. So I think this one, let's do upper body. So for every single one, the instructions are all the same. So these are going to be the same no matter what. Again, keep it simple. If you have 20 different instructions for 20 different slides, it's going to be overly complicated. The kids are going to ask you questions. They're going to say, well, it was too complicated, so I just didn't do it. Well, that doesn't work. So you keep it simple, easy circuit format where we go one exercise to the other. In the instructions, I even say, pick an exercise to start with. It doesn't matter which one. If you pick one, you're going to end up doing all of them if you follow the arrows. Very simple. 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. So just using your stopwatch. All right, I'm doing arm scissors for 30 seconds. All right, now I'm done. Now I'm going to go to arm curls. And personally, I like doing these, what we would normally use for weighted exercises. I like doing them with my adaptive PE kids because, yes, it's good to do them with weight. However, a lot of the students, even gen ed students, they don't know how to do the exercises properly. So just teaching those motor patterns and saying, okay, this is an arm curl. This is a shoulder press. These are arm circles or shoulder raises, because these are students who may have never exercised before. Even the gen ed students, they may have never exercised before. So teaching the actual fundamentals and teaching the basics, especially with like a modified push-up. Super simple, super basic. Most kids can't even do a real push-up or do it properly. So why are we, trying to teach these crazy extra skills? So keep it simple. That's my motto. And so when they're done, they can hit the little check marks like, all right, I completed it. Boom, now I'm back at home. So let's do one more. I'll do stretching. And you can kind of see, I'll go back. Each one is kind of themed to it. So, I'm squatting for my leg day. Couldn't find really anything with abdominals, so I just chose this one because I liked it. This is a full body one because, you have weights, you have running, all that kind of stuff. But for stretching, I chose yoga, and they can do it at any point. Of course, we want them to warm up or to cool down, but you can also include that if you're sending this out and you say, hey, here's the warm up, or do our regular warm up that we know how to do, and then do the virtual classroom. So it's not too hard. It's not too bad, but this is something that they could do, whether it's in between one of the workouts. So let's do upper body, lower body, stretching, and then something else, or they can do it at the end. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, Marcelino showed you how to make the GIFs. I did the exact same thing with Easy GIF. It is a little time consuming, but I will say, and it's kind of the same mantra when it comes to laminating things, you are keeping this forever. So now I have these GIFs for forever, for whenever I teach. And like Mars was saying, I think he said visuals are a very big thing. And I think GIFs are kind of the next generation of pictures. So if we have the ability to, why not use a GIF where it's moving? Instead of showing a kid an arm stretch where I'm holding it in a static position, why not show him how I got to that position? Or, the elbow stretch, or what I call the elbow stretch, it's one that a lot of the students either don't know how to do or they get confused. So having this visual like this is a very helpful section. So I believe I've taken enough time, enough of your time. So if there is any questions or anything like that, just let me know, or send them over to Professor Bassett, and I'll try to answer them. But again, if you need anything, or yeah, that's about it. So thank you.
Thank you to the last group of Danny, Gerardo, Marcelino, and Jacob. Really appreciate what you're sharing. For those of you that are just joining us, my name is Matthew Bassett. I'm a part-time lecturer at Cal State Long Beach, and this is the Kinesiology 580 final project where we're sharing some computer technology projects that we've done throughout the term. So I'm going to hand this off to the next group. We've got 2 more groups to go. And Jeanette, as soon as you're ready, you can start screen sharing and we will get going.
Awesome, sounds good. Let me get this ready and then we'll go ahead and begin. Awesome. So hi, my name is Jeanette Magayan. I teach physical education in Southgate. I teach at a middle school, so grades 6th, 7th, and 8th. And this is actually my first year teaching dance. And I'm doing it virtually, obviously, so enjoying that as well. I'm going to go ahead and talk about incorporating GIFs into your virtual Google Classroom. And I know a lot of my colleagues have went ahead and talked about it, but for you guys that are just joining in, it's good to go ahead and go over the information if you missed anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and move along. This is my virtual classroom. I did focus on a standards-based lesson. So this standard is for 6th grade. Standard 1, so students will be able to demonstrate motor skills and movement patterns needed to perform a wide variety of physical activities. This one specifically focuses on striking an object consistently using an implement so that the object travels in the intended direction. I focused on tennis for this one because I am a tennis player. I coach tennis as well. I went ahead and broke it down into 5 different steps, as you guys can see here. Let me see if I can get my pointer out. There it goes. So step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and step 5. And I think the most important takeaway for me in this class, and even just following the Twitter community as well, is understanding and knowing that not every single student has seen a virtual classroom or a Bitmoji classroom. So definitely, yes, we have seen it replicated in different forms, but just be open to it. Not every single student has seen it. So definitely own it and make it your own. You have the option of getting that Google Chrome extension and adding your own Bitmojis and customizing it to how you want to present it to your students. So like my other classmates, I went ahead and linked every single Bitmoji to the step. I like to break the steps into 5 different steps so students know, okay, there's 5 steps to the forearm swing or backhand swing, so they know there's 5 key components. So the first one here is ready position. And the thing with GIFs is I personally like them because I know that some people work better with words, others with numbers, but it's super crucial. I think everybody gets a picture. And the cool thing about a GIF is its fast moving nature. They're strong and they're shorter in length. So it makes it more digestible than a video. And personally, I found with my students is they've had more success with the GIFs because they're shorter, quicker, and to the point. I actually surveyed my students as well, and I found that they lose interest in videos no matter how long or short they are. So like Jacob mentioned, this is the new way of the land, and the kids really gravitate towards it. There's more buy-in. The students kind of see, okay, my teacher went out and recorded this, made a GIF, and they get excited about the lesson. So here, as you can see, I went ahead and made a GIF for step 1 for the forearm. So you have your ready position, your knees are bent, you have quick feet, your weight is on the balls of your feet, a firm grip on your racket, and you're definitely keeping eye on the ball. And I went ahead and put where you should be standing, which is by the baseline. Again, I do have it linked as well, so you can go back to the first slide, but I'm just gonna go ahead and, actually I can go ahead and click on that. So step 2 here, side views. I learned this is super important in this class. So having different videos in your presentation definitely gives the students different angles to identify different movements and see the different views. So you have the side view and the front view, and a lot of students have said, you know what, Miss, seeing the video in different angles has really helped me understand the skill. So step 2 is your takeaway. Determine if you're going to hit a forearm or a backhand. In this case, it's a forearm. Make sure you're turning towards your target and you have a firm grip on that racket. And then I do have the stance here, run towards the ball if you need to. Obviously, every single ball that comes back to you is not necessarily going to reach where you are standing. I'm gonna go ahead and go to step 3. Again, with the 2 different views to help the students, we have a side view with a tennis ball for those students that are more advanced. And then the students can just practice the motions if they're not advanced. Go ahead and try to practice the skill without a tennis ball. It's just the same. We're just working on the movement, okay? So step 3 is making contact with the ball. Keep your racket straight, make contact in front of your foot, and
Looks like we might have lost Jeanette. We'll give her another second or two to see if we can get her back. If we can't, it is quite all right. I think we have Samantha will be coming up momentarily. Might just have you jump in here, Samantha. It always happens. We always have the one internet issue. All right. We'll try to get Jeanette caught up and give her a chance to share a little bit more. Samantha, are you okay to get started? Oh, wait, she might be coming back.
Are we good to go? I can just go ahead and screen share.
Okay, there you go.
Sorry about that. We've all experienced this, though, technical difficulties in class. So the last step, step 5, your follow through and keep a rally. So your knees are bent, you have quick feet, weight on the balls of your feet, and you keep a firm grip on your racket and your eye on the ball. And again, run towards the ball if you need to. So just like Marcelino, like I mentioned, I want to go ahead really quickly for the new viewers on YouTube, how to make a GIF. I did see it in the chat in the beginning. A lot of people were asking, how do you make a GIF? I went ahead and used the same website, so the easygif.com. What I found in this class, it's beneficial to go ahead and use the video to GIF option. You want to keep your video a minimum of 7 seconds. It works best. Definitely, you have the option of cropping the video on your device, but you can also crop the device in the website itself. And then lastly, you have different options like upload, crop, resize, you name it. You can play around with the different buttons. And then you want to download, save, and upload to your site. So really quick and brief, you choose the file that you want. So I already have one here, and you hit upload. I already have these pre-uploaded as well. So once the video uploads, like I mentioned, you have the option to go ahead and split the video depending on the frames that you want. So say I hit play, and this is just a basic simple stretch. So touching your toes, say I want to end the video there. So I would pause it and hit use current position, and then go ahead and hit convert to GIF. Hopefully I don't lose connection. I have a lot of things open, but it's working right now to convert to a GIF. You scroll on the bottom and it went ahead and made that GIF. And again, you have options to crop, resize, rotate. You can add an effect. I'll just give you a preview of how to crop. It usually gives you a suggestion. I like to bring it in a little closer so it can make it a little bigger. And then you want to go ahead and hit crop image. And you would use what you normally use in Google Slides. You go back and hit, let me show you really briefly, then I can hand it over to Samantha. You do insert image, and then you would upload from your computer once you download that GIF. If you have any questions, I will definitely check the chat. I have it open as well on YouTube, but thank you so much. I appreciate it. And my last slide before I forget. So if you have any questions, feel free to type it in the YouTube chat. You can find me on Twitter at Miss Magayan PE, and that is my professional email address. I work with LAUSD, so Jeanette Magayan at lausd.net. Samantha, are you ready?
All right. I'm ready, Jeanette. Jeanette's screen sharing for me. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Samantha Fabian. I teach 9th and 10th grade at Gar High School in ABC Unified. This is my 2nd year, and as we still are virtual, everything that we've learned in Mr. Bassett's class has helped me personally because I was not very tech savvy before I took KIN 580, so I have definitely learned a lot. Today, I will be sharing how to create themed fitness task cards with visuals. And my Twitter account, I will post my copy for you guys, is right here, Samantha, capital F, Fab 4315. Next slide, Jeanette. So I did you can let the music play. I think there's music on this slide just for a minute here. So if you are sharing your fitness cards virtually right now, you might just present your screen, and I used Google Slides. So if your kids, you might want music with your fitness task cards. So I added music. This theme is obviously Superman for this first task card, and I did a HIIT workout, so a high intensity interval training workout. My first exercise was high knees, and that is a picture of me. Jumping jacks as well, bear crawls, squat jumps, and mountain climbers. And my kids know high intensity, we're trying to raise our heart rates up as high as we can. And my students have done this workout. We actually did this last week, and I take them through this circuit 2 times. So I just presented my screen like I'm doing right now, and right when you're in present mode, the music should start playing. And it's the same remove background website when you take pictures of yourself as Danny has showed us. And I will show you at the end. Next slide is, I believe, our upper body Batman workout. So this is the upper body Batman workout. Standard push-ups, tricep dips, and shoulder taps, modified push-ups, and triceps one-arm push-ups. So this is for 9th and 10th graders, the high school level. Some of these might be a little difficult if you teach elementary or middle school, so you would just pick exercises that your students can do. Next slide, please. Lower body workout, so we're focused on the legs, the hamstrings, the quadriceps, and the calves here. So first exercise is body weight squats, alternating lunges, calf raises, wall sits, and the last one are glute bridges. And this is obviously Spider-Man themed. Next slide. This next one is a full body workout. That's why I made it the Hulk themed. And this is side lunges, inchworms, which could be a little bit difficult if you're at elementary level, body weight squats, curl ups, and elbow plank leg raise, which was a little bit difficult for my 9th and 10th graders. So if you can see, I put the description. So if we take a look at the first one, side lunges, take a step to the side, weight and heels, rotate legs. Inchworms, walk hands out to a plank and return. So the students can see this in the starting position, and then I've added the arrows to the next position. The students might not, they need a visual. They need you to write it out as well instead of an explanation. I think that helped my students a lot. The next one is an ab exercise, and this one is themed Captain America. All of my task cards have 5 exercises on each of them. And I go through the circuit about 2 or 3 times. So here we have curl ups, plank hold, heel touches, bicycles, leg raises with descriptions as well. And then the YouTube video is just the music at the bottom there for the kids to have music during this exercise. Next slide. So how to make task cards. First, you're going to create a new presentation on Google Slides. Simply just use Google Slides. Then you're going to choose a theme. I choose superhero / vigilantes because my students really do enjoy those characters. And I ask them, you can choose holidays, you can choose different cartoons, TV characters. And then you're going to take pictures of yourself. Doing different exercises. You can put 1 or 2 or 3 exercises on each task card. I just chose 5 to kind of give it a theme, 5 exercises for all of my task cards. And then you go to removebackground.com, same as what Danny showed us, and you remove your background so it looks a little bit neater and organized on your slides. Then you just drag your pictures to where you want them on Google Slides, you resize them, and you add directions for each exercise. So shoulder width apart, feet shoulder width apart, bend down 90 degrees, sit back, weight and heels if you're doing a squat. And then you save each task card as a PDF. So I know that everybody really enjoys GIFs, and so do I, but I feel like pictures, these task cards, when you save them as a PDF, you can print them out and laminate them for when we do get back to in-person. And if you're on the field or on the blacktop and your students don't have access to their Chromebooks right then and there, you just have printed out PDF task cards, and you can maybe put your students in fitness stations, and each station is a different workout with 5 exercises. And that's what I do plan on doing if and when we open up for school, to laminate these task cards that I have created. Next slide, please. My last slide just says, if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the YouTube chat, and I will be posting a copy of this on my Twitter. And that is it, and I'll hand it off to Dylan.
Hi guys, can you guys hear okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna begin with just the title slide. Just let me hit present mode. So I'm gonna be doing Google Forms. I know it's probably not as fancy as all the stuff that you guys have saw so far, but in my opinion, this is something that is very important, especially over distance learning, and this is something that I use at least once a week. So the first thing I want to show you guys is an icebreaker Google form that I use in my classroom at the beginning of the year. And basically what it is just simple information to get to know the kids, get them to feel comfortable in my class. Simple questions such as name, first and last, do you have a nickname that you prefer to go to, birthday, favorite movie, favorite book, etc. And this is just something that I feel gets kids comfortable in your classroom. It shows that you care about them. And it's something that after they fill out, they just feel a little safer in your classroom. The next one I have is an exit ticket, which I use at least once a week. So after I'm teaching my lesson, I go ahead and put this in the little chat in Zoom. They click on it. And when they click on it, this is something that they will see. So for example, when I have my fitness unit, we were focusing on the lower body on 1 week. And what I had for them was, what are 3 workouts one can perform to increase lower body strength? And then just the sentence starters for those that might need them, those with learning disabilities, or people that just are struggling to think of something. So for example, I had 3 workouts someone can do to increase lower body strength are, and then they would just fill in their answer along with that. And then you guys see, it's just something really simple to see what information they retained throughout the lesson. And I find this to be very, very important to use. And it's something that it's really my go-to, so I can see if the kids are learning or not. And then the last but not least, the most important Google form, in my opinion, is a test. So when I did my muscle unit, basically just teaching about all the 12 major muscle groups in the body, this is how I basically tested, did you guys retain the information throughout the unit or not? So as you can see, I added some little pictures here. And then, for example, what is a workout for abdominals or obliques? And then, obviously we would say curl ups, but if the kids don't know, then they would choose something else. And then so on and so on. You have the glute muscles, calf muscles. Just going to show you guys little pictures that you can add to it. What muscles in the front thigh? What muscle is this in red? So it's just something that you can do really easy, really cool. The kids enjoy the pictures. It makes it a little bit easier for them. And by the way, I'm an 8th grade middle school teacher. So in 8th grade, pictures are really essential for kids that are, that might be visual learners. And then once you fill all this out, you will get your score right away. But I'm going to show you guys an example right now when I teach you how to make one of these forms. So how to make a Google form, you're going to click on the website or type in this website, googleforms.com. Next, you're going to go to Google Form, click on Google Form, name your form, the appropriate title, create questions, edit settings to your preference, and copy link. We have a little bit of time here, so I'm going to go ahead and just show you guys real quick what I would do. So you're going to go ahead and click on go to Google Forms. And the cool thing about it is it saves all your stuff. As you guys can see, I have all this stuff from just this year, ridiculous amount. But for this sake, I'm gonna just click on blank. And then we'll just say Kin 580 as our title. One thing that I find that everybody should do is make a name question as well as a period, and also make this required. So if you click on the question, you can click required. That way they have to fill it out before they turn it in. So required. And then we'll just go ahead and add one question. What is one thing you learned throughout this presentation? Sorry guys, I'm just trying to do this really quick. You guys get the point, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and add a multiple choice right here. And then you could say whatever, how to make a exit ticket, make a test, icebreaker. Just for time's sake, I'm just gonna put nothing. And then you can go ahead and just go here, hit required, so they have to answer it. All right. And then you can just go ahead and press add another question. You can scroll through paragraphs if you want a worded answer, short paragraphs, stuff like that. Just simple stuff that is pretty easy to learn, pretty easy to do. You can also shuffle the option order, cool stuff like that. And then once you go to settings as well, this is really important. So for me, I usually restrict it to my class so other people can't see it. But for, you know, if you want to send it to somebody else, you can take this off. Limit to one response. That way they're not able to take the test over and over, and you just collect the one that they took, collect email addresses. Presentation, you could show progress bar, show question order, shuffle question order. And then with the quizzes, always make sure if you're doing a quiz to make this a quiz. This option makes it so that the kids cannot go on different tabs and search up the answers. So it'll keep them on this. That way they are not able to cheat on the test. There's so many other stuff that I wish I could get to right now, guys, but just for time's sake, that's all I can show you today. But this is, like I said, it's a very, very important tool that I use every day in my classroom. And I hope that you guys have learned a lot today and that you use it in the future. And that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you very much. I'm going to pass it on to Chris.
All right, welcome everybody. Thank you guys for sticking around. If you've been here since 9:30, if you are just joining us today, great as well. Thank you guys for being here. My name is Christopher Torres. I am currently teaching 9th and 10th grade PE as well as health over at Legacy High School in the city of Southgate. One thing I wanted to show you guys, hold on, give me 1 second. Let me share my screen. Before I start, I would like to say before this class, I did not consider myself technology savvy whatsoever. And I never really messed with technology like that for my classes or for teaching. But this class, definitely thank you, Mr. Bassett, for helping us out with that and showing us different ways to bring up student participation and to make students understand different ways of learning the content. But Weebly is one that stood out to me the most. It is the one that I've actually been using every assignment that we've been doing, and I'll show you guys in a bit one of the ones that I did with the virtual classroom. But Weebly is one that I want to use, and I started 2 different Weebly websites. And one is for in the future, as I'm slowly building it, but one is for my students, student parents, and for administration as well, just so that they could see and I'm able to raise advocacy
Christopher, we seem to have lost your audio feed.
Website builder, keyword free. Everybody loves free things, right? So I'm going to make this very simple for you guys, as it is already very simple. So let's get started. So step 1 is creating a login. Step 2 is choosing a template. And step 3 is create a subdomain through Weebly.com, in which I will get into in just a little bit. Step 1, creating a login. Log in through Google. So if you already have a Google account, Gmail, I'm with LAUSD, so my professional or my teaching email is already on there. And then I have my own personal Gmail as well, which are the two that I'm using for the 2 different websites. So very easy to access. You don't have to create a password or anything like that. You just log in through Google. Same thing with Facebook. If you feel comfortable enough with sharing your Facebook information, and then log in through Square. I don't know what Square is. I've never used Square before. But if you guys do have Square, you guys can log in through it as well. Or you can do it the original way, in which you would with other websites or other applications, and you just create a simple login. Okay. Step number 2, you're going to choose a template. So right after you create a login and you're in, it will ask you to choose a template or select a theme. And the themes vary from business to portfolio to personal, event, blogs, and then others that are coming soon. And I would highly suggest to select a theme that best replicates something that you would like to do. You could look at each one and see which one would replicate that. And then you can easily edit it out, or edit things in or edit things out to your own liking. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, one more thing. Step number 3. Step number 3 is to create a subdomain through Weebly. So like I said, I was going to explain that. So here in this screenshot here, you're going to create a domain, right? So you have the 3 different options. You can register a new domain, which you have to pay for, but believe me, it's not that pricey. I think there's 3 different prices, and I chose one. I don't remember the details of it, but I chose one for one of the Weebly websites that I have, and I believe I paid 12 or 15 bucks. So you can register a new domain on that. It doesn't have to be .weebly.com. It's just your own personal website. The second one is connecting a domain you already own. So if you already have a website or a domain, you can go ahead and use that on here. Or if you want to create a free one, use a subdomain on Weebly.com. So whatever it is, as you see here, mine says HTTPS Torres PE Health, and it will be .weebly.com. Okay, so it's no issue if you create the free one. I like both of them, but I would highly suggest for you guys to use the free one. It would just say at the very bottom, produced by Weebly or something of that sort. And then when they access your website, it would just be .weebly.com, which isn't bad at all. There's no negatives to that. All right, so let's do it. So let me share my screen really quickly. Let me see. I can't see because of the top part. Okay, so this is what it would look like if you are creating. So this is the one I'm using. Like I said before, I'm just getting started with this, and I'm slowly building these websites up. And hopefully, I am aiming, my short-term goal would be to have it running by next year. So next school year. So as you see here, you could add spacers to make to elongate the page, to create space between the words or images. You could select a background, select an image there, and then very important on the left top side, as you see my name, Mr. Torres, you can do 2 things. You can either type in your name on here or type in whatever welcome message you want, as you see text, or you can even upload a logo. If you already have your own logo, you can do that as well. If you want to put the school logo, that'll work as well. And then if you scroll down, everything's editable, right? Or editable, not editable. You can't eat this. So if you scroll to the left, you'll see all the different things that you could put into your site. So you could put in a title, you could put in the text, image, a gallery of photos, a slideshow. You can put a map on there, contact form, in which Brittany showed earlier if you guys were around for that, newsletter form, or if you want to create links, you can use buttons to take you to different links. You can embed a code, and I'll show you guys all those little now. So I have different pages here. You have links to check out. I'll click on them later on, as you can't click on them as you're editing. I have to publish this first, and then you're able to click on it. But since it's already published, I'll show you guys in just a little bit how that works. And then I have my different pages on here as well. And then on top, let me show you really quickly. So if I were to go, let's say the resources, right? I'll do one quick thing for you guys. Resources and ideas. So here I have a couple of things that we worked on for this class. A self-graded quiz, as Dylan did with his exit ticket, a 4-part lesson, or a 4-part poster lesson, and then a virtual classroom, as you've seen all the awesome virtual classrooms that you've been witnessing. So what we can do here, for example, just to show you guys really quickly, is let's say you want to do another one, right? So you'll drag the button over here. The button will pop up here, and then you'll click on it really quickly like this. Let me drag my window down just so I'm able to see my tabs. And then button text. So I'm going to do a review that I do with the virtual classroom for my class. It was a review 1 of identifying muscles and other PE concepts. And as you click on the Bitmojis, as you guys saw earlier, it'll take you to different slides. So I just created this review or study guide for my students. So I will copy, and then we'll come back over here, and then the link. So you click on link, website URL, you'll paste it there, and then you can unlink it if you want to change it, and then you'll go back and you can edit the button text. So I can put chapter, or oops, oh, here you go. So you can put review 1 virtual classroom, right? And then that's it. So it's ready. So now you have your button, or you can also change the position of it, the button style. If you want to make it darkened from the inside, or if you want to outline it or make it all white, totally up to you what you want to do with it. And yeah, it's ready to go once you do that. And then let's see, there's one more thing I want to show you guys. I have a 3rd page here for my story, for the about me, and then with the, oh, okay, it's on the 1st page, sorry about that. But yeah, so once you publish it, you'll click on publish once you're all done, and then it'll take you here, and this is what it would or it should look like. So it looks totally different as an editing version of it. And as you see, we have links that work as well. So you click on the Twitter link, and it'll take you to my Twitter, which I just created recently. If you guys want to follow me, feel free. And then let me go back. Or you have a Google Forms that can help you out, like different resources for you, or YouTube. I really use, I forgot his name. It'll pop up right now. But I like to use his videos a lot for the PE specialist. So I have that on there, which is more resources if no one has used his videos before. And then if you go to resources, and as you scroll down, you can click on, oh, since I didn't publish it, I want you guys to be able to see that. So let's hit publish. So publishing, it'll ask you if you want to upgrade. You don't have to. You just exit there. And it will come over here, and we'll refresh the page. As you see, we only have 3 resources. So I'll reload the page, and now we have the one that we just created right now, the Review 1 Virtual Classroom. Click on that, and it'll take you right to it. It'll load up a little bit, in just a little bit here. just so you guys can see that everything works fine. And there it is. It's all there. Make sure when you do link stuff, when you click on share, make sure that it is anyone with the link if you want it viewable for everybody. Okay. And then we're going to come back here and you can click on each one. And that is just the basics of how to create this website through Weebly. As you saw with Brittany's earlier, if you were around, it is very, you can do a lot of different things. You can add a lot of different things and make it for everybody, right? In this case, in this scenario, I am making this as a type of resource or a type of homepage for other instructors or other educators like yourselves, for you guys to come here and see what kind of resources I'm using. And I'll be putting other people's resources as well, and not just mine, just so that we can have a different platform of finding engaging lessons or engaging applications. So I'll stop sharing my screen. And if there are any questions, feel free to write it in the YouTube. And thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you guys for listening. And thank you, Mr. Bassett and Caper, for hosting this as well.
It helps when I unmute myself. Thank you, Christopher, Dylan, Jeanette, and Samantha for the last block. We are nearing the end. We just have a little bit more time left and we are going to get going. Thank you for joining us. We have Carlos and Kevin, who are the last few that will get started. And I'm going to hand it over to Kevin right now.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm trying to unvideo. There we go. Okay, so my name is Kevin Saruda. I'm an elementary physical education teacher. I teach in LA. My school is Sandra Cisneros Learning Academy. We're just outside Echo Park. But what I wanted to share is my virtual fitness room. I kind of had a different thought process in mind when I was doing this. I really loved using Derby.com and using their workouts as a way to engage my students because it has great visual images as pictures, but I decided I wanted to turn mine into GIFs, still using the same workouts just because they have such a great variety and it varies in difficulty level. And I think I can really apply it to different fitness levels for everybody. So this is obviously my homepage. This is what the published version of it looks like. So when you're on the web, you would come to your landing page and I have all my Bitmojis out and everything ready to go. And I created each level to be based on a different superhero. So obviously level 1 would be Spider-Man, and you can click on any of the 5 Bitmojis to go to that workout. I have a timer in there, so you're able to use the timer for the certain counts, the 10 count plank hold. I have how many sets you're supposed to do for this specific ab workout. And once you complete all your sets, you're able to go back to gym time and return to the home page and find any other workout you can do. What I also wanted to share is just kind of how I went about doing all of this. So, oh, that's a different one. So obviously you start out with a Google Slides and you create your slides and you have your Bitmojis. But what I did was each Bitmoji is linked to a different slide. So as I go through, all you do is click on each individual one and it'll take you to a different workout. I used easygif.com to create all my GIFs. I recorded everything from my phone and I was able to upload them to my computer and edit it on the website. They all came out really great. And I have them saved forever so I can use them in any other kind of circumstance that I choose to use GIFs. But this was just such a great piece of technology that I used that I hadn't thought about using in a PowerPoint for my class before I took Kin 580. And I mean, each level of progression really does increase the number of reps and the difficulty of each exercise. So I know one of our other presenters was talking about not making push-ups or not having difficult level of push-ups in the beginning of the workout, and I don't. So I made sure everything was stationary for push-up planks and mountain climbers, and we don't really get into doing difficult push-ups or full body push-ups until you're at about level 3 with Captain America. And even then, it's 2 push-ups at a time, 4 push-ups at a time. And yes, you have a wide variety, but again, it's 2, 2, 2. So definitely varying in difficulty and giving everybody a chance to just kind of be successful with it. But yeah, this is my virtual fitness room. And the other one I wanted to share was I created a baseball room. So one of our other assignments was the first virtual classroom we had to create. And I decided to do one for baseball hitting, which was the standard I was trying to meet. So again, you would click through each Bitmoji and it would take you to the next slide. And each Bitmoji led to a different slide, and it was basically your lesson for the day. And so you would start out with swinging with one hand and just kind of practicing, not even trying to hit a ball. Then you again practice with 2 hands, stepping with a foot. Then you have your full swing. And then even, this was something I couldn't find a baseball tee, so I decided to tie a wiffle ball to a basketball pole. And this can be this is something you can do at school as well if you tie a ball to a basketball hoop or any other standing pole. But those are my virtual classrooms. I shared the links with Mr. Bassett already, so we'll be able to share the fitness room if you guys are interested in looking at it later on. More than willing to answer any questions you guys may have. Really appreciate this class. It was a great class I took. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to share what we've learned with you guys.
Cool, thank you, Kevin. Carlos, you ready to go?
Yes, sir. I'll just share my screen.
And last but not least, Carlos, bringing it home.
Oh, all right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carlos Alvarez. I am a middle school teacher at Jane Addams Middle School in Lawndale Elementary School District. If you ever want to connect or just geek out about PE, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. But my Twitter handle right there is @AlvarezPhysEd. So today, my topic is going to be about Pear Deck. I think Pear Deck kind of saved my life when it came to distance learning, because when I was a first-year teacher, I had to teach an elective class, and when I did my lecture portions, the kids just stared at a screen. It wasn't interactive. But then when I found out about Pear Deck, it changed my life completely. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. All right, so I'm gonna start off with the prices. It's free to use. You have a lot of the interactive templates. You're able to control the pace of the class. There's a timer, and then other few things that that the basic allows you to use. It's a lot of stuff for it being free. But for the individual premium subscription, it costs about $150 a year. I know that's a hefty price, but it does include a teacher dashboard, which I'm going to talk about later, and then different questions as well. That is not included in the basic. And then also you're able to save the reports as well. So all the work that the students did, you're able to use that only with the individual subscription. And then also there is school districts pricing, and obviously it's going to vary depending on how many teachers are in your district. Okay, so where can you find the tech? You can find it on peardeck.com. It'll give you all the information on how to install it, how to use it properly. It gives you videos on how to start your own Pear Deck. It also does come with Google Slides as an extension as well. And then also it is integrated with PowerPoint using Microsoft Teams. All right, so what is Pear Deck? Pear Deck is basically an interactive presentation tool, which can be either teacher-paced or student-paced. When you have it under teacher-paced, it allows you to control the slides so the students cannot advance and cannot answer the questions. And I'm sorry, they're allowed to answer the questions when prompted to. So the kids can't jump ahead, get a head start, try to beat out everybody, and then say, "Oh, I'm done," and you're barely on the first slide. So you can control the pace, and when instructed, they can answer the questions. This is also can count as an asynchronous assignment as well. So the kids can do it as a homework assignment or something to do once they're done. They can do it at their own pace as well. It could be integrated, like I said earlier, through Google Slides. It also does provide assortments of check-ins, assessment activities, and reflections. And then you can also include social emotional learning questions and as well as critical thinking questions just to engage the students just a bit more. So how is it useful? Pear Deck provides immediate feedback of students and response, which can be viewed through the teacher dashboard. It can highlight students' work as well. It has different tools for interactions and assessments. And then also it includes a screen lock and timer. So if you want to give your students a certain amount of time to complete a question, you can give them 30 seconds, a minute, 3 minutes. And then once that timer is up, the students are not allowed to answer anymore. And we're going to dive in just a little bit more. So like I said, it does provide immediate feedback. So the teacher dashboard does assist in driving your lesson. It's basically, and it also provides the answers as well. Based on the answers, you will know whether to move on or repeat the instructions. So if in case you have a lot of students that got the answer wrong, you can go back on your slides and then just re-explain everything just so that way the students can understand the content just a bit more. It also collects the students' reports once the lesson is over. So you'll go to your session so you go to Pear Deck, you open up the session, and then you're able to open up it's an Excel spreadsheet, and it has everyone that participated and then what answers did the students answer for each question. Okay. All right. And also you're able to highlight a student's work. So the teacher dashboard allows you to see who answered what with their names on it as well. And then you can also share the students' work anonymously. So if in case the students are shy or they don't want, to be put on that spot, you can say, well, a student of ours put this answered here. Let's look at it and let's talk about it. So especially like if there's an exemplary model that you would like to show to your class, you're able to display it on your projector or on the student screen. Also, it does assist in driving conversations to help students understand the topic and answers as well. All right, so different tools for interactions. Pear Deck provides multiple modes of interactions, such as answering questions, check-in prompts, drawing the screen, label a diagram, Venn diagrams, and connecting ideas. And then one of my favorite ones is the student check-ins. So when you start your Pear Deck, if you look at the top right picture, it'll ask the students, while we're waiting to get started, how are you feeling today? The students could put happy, they feel or they feel sad. So when the students do answer that, normally if they're either yellow or red, I'll send them a message on the side like, hey, how's it going? Did you get breakfast? Was it not enough sleep? And, some of the students are just joking around and they'll just press it and they'll be like, oh, no, that was a mistake. Or you'll get those students that actually need, maybe an extra, they just didn't have a good day. And then you can try to just help them out in that way as well. So those are the different tools that come in with Pear Deck. And then just recently, I think his name was Jim Hamble. He actually created some Pear Deck slides for PE. So there are some that you can go ahead and use, and a lot of these are editable. So you don't have to just pick something up and then have to use it. You can actually change it and manipulate it to how it's tailored to your lesson. So for example, it'll have like the 4 choices of how you're feeling when you're done exercises. And then you ask the students why they feel that way. And then also, what is your favorite physical activity or exercise, and then why? So we want to get the why out of physical education nowadays, especially with using technology and then distance learning. And then, you can have the kids try to transfer the knowledge into different activities or sports. So it even has how do these skills or concepts apply to other activities. And then if you feel like you've been standing too long, or you feel like the students need a quick break, you can tell them to stop everything and move. I actually tend to use this a lot when I do my lectures. So we get up, we do a quick stretch break, and then I'll ask them like, hey, what type of response, I'm sorry, not what type of exercise did you do just to get yourself going and motivated? So how to create a pear deck. So I'm gonna go ahead and exit here, and then I'm gonna show you, we're gonna do a quick, simple one. So right here we have, let's say we did an assessment for 5 components of fitness. You wanna start off by first installing the add-on. So you're gonna go to your Google slide, you go to add-ons, and then you're gonna go to get add-ons, and then you're gonna let this load. All right, and then so you'll go to search apps, you'll type in Pear Deck, but it'll be right here. So it'll say Pear Deck for Google Slides. You open that up. Because I already have the add-on installed, it'll give me the uninstall app option here, but for you, it'll say install. So to open up Pear Deck, you'll go to add-ons, go to Pear Deck for Google Slides add-on, and then open Pear Deck add-on. One main thing that you need to do when you're creating a Pear Deck, you want to make sure your setting is changed to where the students are actually, it requires their student login. So you want to make sure the toggle will normally be off. So what you want to do is you want to turn it on, and then the students have to either enter through their school email address, or it'll give them some type of way so you can identify who it is. If not, if you print out your report, it's going to say anonymous, 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 and we don't want that. Okay. So now that we got our slides ready, so like I said, I like checking in with my students. So, I'll tell them circle how you are feeling. So one thing that I can use, I can either use the draggable or the draw, whichever one. If it's the draw, the kids can just draw a circle, but I like using the draggable one. So I'll just select draggable. And then it'll ask me what kind of, if I want a dot. So if you see right here to the right, it'll tell you the size of the dot. You can either make the dot bigger, you can make it smaller. So we'll just keep it in the middle. And then you can also change your color or the shape as well. So we have different shapes and then different colors as well. So once you do that, you can update the slide. Or let's say if you have multiple draggables, you can add another as well, and it'll be a different color, and you can change the shape of it as well. So you update the slide, it'll say adding interactive question. And then if you look in the bottom right here of the slide, this is what makes the Pear Deck come to a live session. Do not delete that, because if you do delete that, then the question is, the slide is just a slide. It won't be an interactive question. Okay, so let's say we talked about muscular endurance in previous lessons, and I want to know what answer, if the students know the answer, you can pick a choice, or you can have them, there's text options as well, so they can actually write out the words. So I already pre-filled our options. So, it starts off with 3 options, but you can add as many options as you want. Okay, but me, I like keeping it simple, so I'll just keep it with 3. So I put either the amount of force you can produce, the percentage of bone, muscle, fat, and water in our body, and then the ability of a muscle group of muscles to perform repetitive contractions against a force, and it'll go on. So then I'll update the slide, and then it'll, like I said, the little Pear Deck icon will come on the bottom here. All right, now let's say it also includes different templates as well. So you'll go to your template library. It'll give you do nows, bell ringers, transitions, activities. Let's say towards the end, you want to do an end of lesson. I can just quickly try to find a template. I can open up that template, and it'll insert it into my presentation. So there you go. And then, like I said, you're able to edit this as well. So I can say, list 1 exercise for each component of fitness. And then the students, so let's say I have I'll just shorten this up. So let's say I have muscular strength here. I'll have muscular endurance. And then I'll have flexibility. And then cardiovascular endurance. And then this option right here says students draw. The students can either draw the exercise, they can actually open up a text box as well, and then type in the question. So it'll give your students who are artistic a chance to express themselves in PE. And then those who just want to type out the answers, they can, okay? And then once you want to start the lesson, you just start your lesson here. It'll tell you if you want student pace or instructor pace. You select instructor pace, and it'll take you to a different window. And then once it's loading, it'll give you a code. Or if not, the easiest way to do it is just giving the students a link. If you look down here, you copy that link, and then you're able to share that link. Or if not, they can go to joinpd.com, type in the code. Sometimes they'll give you like a funny little code so the kids can remind you what to do. Then also gives you the chance to open up your teacher dashboard, which you can actually open up in a different screen, a tablet or a phone or a different laptop, just to make it easier for you and you have more space in your window. Okay, so yeah, so that's basically it. That's Pear Deck. If you have any questions, I mean, you can go ahead and, follow my Twitter. I'll be happy to connect. If not, you can put it on a question on the YouTube and try to get to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you for joining us today and sticking around. For those of you that have been with us all day, all morning, the YouTube video should be staying up, as far as I know, indefinitely. So we will be very happy for that to continue. Wanted to thank, first of all, as the students of my Kin 580 class. They had some really wonderful projects, did an excellent job today. Make sure if you do see them on YouTube that you can say good job to them. Would love to thank Capered today for letting us stream to their YouTube channel. If you have not been involved in your professional organization, whether it's at the state or the national level, please support them right now more than ever. We are going to have lots of issues with budget cuts and layoffs, and we would love to have that support. They're out there fighting for you at the highest level. And then I know Capered is going to have some more professional development opportunities coming up in the short term, so please check their website for any more. So with that said, thank you for joining us today. Have a great day, and we will see you